So, welcome back. Last week, for our first session, you all had gathered at a tavern, a pair of black antlers, it was called. This tavern was just outside of the city of Elturel, and you all were there to sit in on a meeting of sorts of some local officials from both Baldur's Gate and from Elturel. These people had gathered to discuss the activities of the Cult of the Dragon, which had been causing trouble in the area, attacking merchants and caravans, even going so far as to sack an entire town in the region. After sitting out on this meeting and volunteering your services to help figure out what was going on with the Cult of the Dragon and stop them however you could, you left the tavern and set out for a known ritual site that they had been frequenting, being led there by one Rhea Manselmorn, a Hell Rider who had knowledge of the area and was able to lead you to that destination. While you were en route to the ritual site, you met some of the people of Eltergard, saw a wedding that was taking place, and helped a young girl that was being attacked by several wolves, helping her down from the tree, and aiding her in her quest to become one of the most powerful wizards of Eltergard by attending the mage school. You all helped her out quite a bit financially with that, and she was extremely grateful. After all of this, you finally arrived at the area of the ritual site, and when you got there, you found a scene far different from what you'd expected. The Cult of the Dragon had been mercilessly cut down and essentially annihilated by a different group, the Cult of the Dead Three. The Cult of the Dead Three proving to be a far more sinister threat, having ambushed and brutally murdered the Cult of the Dragon and essentially taking whatever they had from them and taking pleasure in their demise. After dealing with these mad cultists of the Dead Three and figuring out a bit of information from them, a lead to a place in Baldur's Gate, a bathhouse that may be um, a hub for them, a base of sorts, and becoming more concerned with the developments, you all decided to head back to Elturel to report your findings and see what else could be done about all of this. When you arrived at the outskirts of the city, you did so just in time to see infernal chains burst up from the ground all around the city, latch on to Elturel and drag it down into the first layer of the Nine Hells. The smoke and sulfury smell and the heat of that incident still weighing heavily, still fresh in the air. That is where we pick up today. So, you all find yourselves just outside of the crater that was once Elturel. There are people flowing out of the area, desperately trying to figure out what was going on. People that were lucky enough to be just outside of the city when it happened, and of course all the smaller farmsteads just outside of it. Rhea is standing next to you all in utter disbelief. Her jaw hangs open and she stares wide-eyed at the crater, unsure of what to do. There are people all around you guys, desperately trying to escape from this area, fleeing in random directions. What do y'all do?
Rust is gonna also kind of be slack-jawed and then for a second like compose himself and yell up at the sky, "Oh, come on! What am I supposed to do with that?"
Well, that was unexpected. Huh. I'll turn to everyone else and be like, what now?
Anna is just getting like white knuckled around her staff as she's just like realizing she's going to have to do even more interplanar travel to get what she wanted out of Elturel.
Brawl is just going to start booking it towards the city to see if he can see what's going on better, see if there's anybody that he can help while he's looking for his mother. seeing if he can find anybody in the crowd that looks like his mother.
Okay. Kroll, as you break from the group and go running towards the crater, you see Rhea when she's still staring straight ahead, but once you pass in front of her, it seems to break her out of her trance, out of her inaction, and she looks around and she will bolt right after you. And when you both arrive at the edge of the crater, it takes a few minutes of just dead sprinting. You're passing lots of people. It seems that there was a decent sized contingent of Hell Riders just outside of the city when it fell. So there are soldiers milling about, trying to organize people, trying to mitigate as much damage as they can. But you arrive at the edge of what was once Elderel, and it is now just a smoking crater in the ground. There's even a bit of a rise where the earth was pushed away from the city as it was dragged down. So, looking down, you can see it is essentially just a smoldering crater, a thin line of bright red fire at the center of it that is slowly sealing itself shut.
Well, I don't know what to do.
Rhea would look around towards out now that you guys are up a little bit higher. She would look out and say, there's still hundreds of people out here. They need my help. Somebody needs to go to Baldur's Gate, let them know what happened here, try and get there ahead of. And as she says this, as she's completing this sentence, looking to the west, you can see hundreds of people already beginning to pack wagons and stream westward.
Okay.
She
Yeah,
says
I
somebody
say,
needs to get to Baldur's Gate to let them know what happened.
yeah, I'll definitely head in that direction. If anybody else wants to join me.
Can we see? That's a river, right?
That is
Uh,
the Chiantha River, indeed.
yes. Is that like within viewing distance, or is that like miles away?
Oh, you guys are pretty much on the banks of it, near it,
Ah.
I would say. El Tirel brushed right up against the river. There was docks for the city on the river and everything.
Mhm. Are there any spare boats that are kind of just drifting about now that the city was kind of vacuumed away?
Yeah, there would be a few abandoned boats. There would
Yeah,
definitely
that's a
be a
good
few
idea.
boats kind of just drifting around that don't seem to have any crews or anything like that on them.
Well, you all heard the lady. We best be getting to the gate of Balder. And she's going to head down towards the bank and see if she can, I don't know, try and find herself a boat. Uh,
I'll go help her.
Okay.
Us is
So
going
what
to be
kind of
pacing
boat are you
around
guys
and
looking for?
um,
Anything that
okay.
floats.
Well, there's
Um,
go ahead.
I was just going to say, how wide would the river be? I don't know if that's like,
It
I
is
don't know.
a it is a it is a very large river. It is a central hub of trade. Like ships can come in from the Sea of Swords, move all the way from Baldur's Gate to El Tirel, carrying
Ah,
goods. So it is a fully functioning trade
okay.
route.
Yeah. Okay. Then a reasonably sized one, preferably one with a deck beneath it. If we can try and like maybe the crew was in El Terrell when everything went down. Uh,
Yeah, like
yes,
anybody
like
headed towards Baldur's
a
Gate.
reasonably sized one that we could ride the way there. And
Okay, so you're looking for one that's already has a crew.
no, well, not necessarily. No. Sorry, one that has like a deck beneath it. So like fairly large, like
Okay.
not a small boat.
All right. Um, First off, is anybody proficient in water vehicles? Does anybody have the experience necessary to get a boat like that from El Tirel to Baldur's Gate?
nope.
No.
Yeah,
So
that's kind of
you
what
can certainly try,
Trust.
but doing so without any sort of training or anything would likely be difficult.
That's what
Is
Trust
there
was
anyone?
gonna be thinking when he was like, he saw the group looking for a boat. I'm looking for a crude boat, or
Is there anyone offering passage or anything like that? To like saying like, hurry, we need to go to whatever the nearest town downriver.
Okay. So there are a couple of boats that are along the banks trying to gather up refugees and trying to gather up people to them. They are filling up quickly though. There's only 2 boats that are actively doing that. The rest of them seem to be actively avoiding the banks.
Hmm.
let's rush along, shall we?
Yeah, let's hurry.
Should we take uh what would it be?
There are some smaller boats that are kind of drifting around just on their own.
Hmm. Should we take commercial?
Have a boat, do you?
I'm not the best waterfarer, but uh, I'll default to anyone who's seen a boat before, because I have not.
So as you all are doing this investigation, Rhea would approach you all at some point during all of this with several horses, offering you this means of transport instead, um, if you would like. She kind of approaches from behind you all from the city. While you were searching for boats and all that kind of stuff, she was gathering as many people as she could. Rhea says that she is going to be moving with the largest group of refugees westward. She says it'll take her several days to get to Baldur's Gate from here, but if you all would like to ride ahead, she does have several of the Hell Riders' horses available to you.
I like that
Yeah.
idea.
That much more reliable.
Yeah.
Trust is gonna take Ray aside and say, "I'm incredibly sorry about what happened with your town, but have you ever seen anything like that happen?"
She says that she doesn't think anyone has seen anything like that happen before. She is doing her best to keep her head and not dwell too much on where they may be now and figuring out how to get there to help them. So she is all business now. She has completely um, kind of shut down emotion at this point, and she is just in act mode. She is doing her best to get all the refugees together, gather them, and safely escort them westward.
Let's go then.
She has most certainly never heard of anything like this before.
Yeah, let's get moving.
Onward.
Jump on the horses.
Yeah, Anna will mount the horse offered to her, and then just telepathically um, say to Rhea, good luck. Then she'll turn and whip her horse to giddy up.
Right. Okay. So, as you all thunder westward at the best speed that you can manage, it is still quite a distance, as you can see, if even just along the banks of the river. Let's just do that. You guys still have a good 200 miles. It'll take several days to get there, even at hard riding. So, as you make your way away from the city, you're noticing more and more towns, little farmsteads, little hamlets abandoned. One of these small areas you pass through, there is a couple straggling families loading up carts and everything into loading basically their entire homes into these carts. They are frantic, in a hurry, desperate not to be left behind. But you're seeing more and more of these abandoned villages as you go by.
It's gonna take 4 days.
we'll do 1
Less
days to
than
travel.
that, since you can travel. It'll take about 2 days since you guys are on horseback. 24 miles a day is the standard travel pace.
Are there other groups around us? Other people on horseback? Are we traveling with the main refugee group?
You
We're-
are
we're-
most definitely
we're-
out in front of the main refugee group right now, but you are passing by other groups. It looks like word is reaching out into the countryside relatively quickly.
We're
and you
basically
are
like
passing by
the
smaller groups.
we're basically like the messenger party to go and tell them what's going on. So it's natural that we're in front. So I guess we do 1 day's travel, then make camp for the night.
I'm fine with whatever, honestly.
So you guys can
Oh
go
wait, we
ahead
can't.
and
We can't make a. Can we make a whole day's travel? It's still nighttime right now, right?
technically you did arrive at El Terrell late evening, like almost dawn. It was just starting to light the horizon when you came upon El Terrell. So riding all the way for a full day's travel, you would end the day with a level of exhaustion, but you would be about to take a long rest.
All right, that's fine.
You said abandoned buildings. Can we find one of these abandoned homes and like make camp inside of it?
Yeah, you want to ride until you find an abandoned hamlet and hang out in one of the houses?
Yeah, I think that sounds good to me anyway.
Okay. So, yeah, near the, they dot the countryside, especially along the banks of the Chilanthar, and you would be able to find one. So, yeah, so as you're all kind of dismounting, exhausted, clearly after a full day of travel with no rest after what happened the previous night, as you're all dismounting and preparing to go into a house, you would hear an old man, "Hey! What are you doing over there? That's not your house!" Looking in the direction, you'd see a withered old man, could not be any younger than 85, hobbling over towards you with his cane.
Human.
Trust will wave over at him. Don't worry, we're just friends of the family.
Make a deception check.
Gladly.
What?
That's what I do.
Roll insight for this poor old man. He stumbles up to you, gets right up into your face, and he's like, "I've known the Gonthars since they were just that big," and he holds up like a couple little his fingers as far apart as they can come. "I've never seen you around. Planning to rob the place? I'll stop ya!" And he holds up his cane. He's like shaking on his feet. He can barely stand.
And
I'll
as-
put my hand on Mavis's back and just kind of like pull him back. And we're like, we're terribly sorry, sir. We're actually on a mission right now to get to Baldur's Gate as quickly as possible, and we just needed somewhere to stay for the night. Would you be so kind as to let us stay for the night?
Roll persuasion.
Oh shit!
That's what I do.
I was about to threaten this old man. I was.
So he shakily puts his cane back down on the ground. He's like, "Yeah, you heard about what happened over at the holy city, did you?"
Yes, we witnessed it go down, and that's why we're on a mission to get to Baldur's Gate as quickly as possible.
And you promise you're not gonna steal nothing from him?
I swear on my honor.
Nicole is crossing her fingers, and she agrees.
Never take anything that doesn't belong to us.
Oh, all right then. I've got my eye on you.
Thank you very much.
We'd never tell a lie.
Alright, we'll set up camp for the night in the house, I guess, then.
You guys can go ahead and take your long rest. Much needed long rest for some of you.
Spell.
Let's do this short one. Let's see. Assuming the aid spell is gone now, right?
8 hours, yes, it will be gone now.
Oh yes, we get our hit dice back.
That's it. Regular.
It was like exclamation point long rest or something.
That's if your token's out. You can drag your token out and do that. But also, if you drag your token out, if it'll just be listed on your top of page macros.
Okay.
Okay,
Oh,
so
there we go.
before we go to sleep proper, is there anything particularly valuable in the zone?
Go ahead and roll investigation.
Holy crap, you're at 17 HP?
Oh yeah, let's go. I find like a
Damn.
stick. I find a stick, and I'm convinced it's magical, and I take it.
It's like a child's toy of a wand.
Yes, and I take it. I'm convinced it's magic.
I'm actually at 12 HP. I still had that aid on.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, that makes more sense.
So, as you all are taking your rest inside of this house, can everybody roll a perception check for me, please? Or who has the highest passive perception? Anybody over a 15 passive?
Me and Kaio have 15 exactly.
So,
Sleeping.
Kaio and Anacola would hear what sounds like a battle off to the north. Sounds like hundreds of thousands of people shouting, crossing swords, dying.
Oh my.
Any look in that direction, the sound, you would assume you could see this battle. But all you see is a mist across the field of the dead.
Damn fairies always playing tricks, and she'll go back to bed. Yeah, she thinks it's like illusory.
I would say that after the city, after the city had like disappeared, and on the ride here the full day, anyone fairly perceptive would notice that Mavis, his like almost like his posture and his like demeanor is different. It doesn't seem so snooty. It doesn't seem very. He just seems like a different person.
Anna would take note, but pay it no mind. Everyone has their secrets, and she has her own.
Althea will just sleep standing up because she's always ready.
It's like lock
Oh,
the
yeah.
armor.
Yeah, Anna has a similar thing. She'll sit like with her legs crossed and her eyes wide open, but she is like fast asleep.
She's so fucking creepy.
There's just like a beetle like crawling over her eye. Like
Oh, God.
Oh.
Nice.
So, anybody that would be looking outside as you're all beginning to go to sleep, every now and then you would get the impression that out there in the fields to the north, you can swear for a brief second you see two soldiers crossing blades, fighting, and at some point during the night, they the strangest view of what looks like a person limping up towards the town and then disappearing. Nothing approaches the house, nothing tries to get into the house, but there are certainly odd things happening in the grasslands to the north of this village.
Something odd is happening in Oz.
Hmm.
All right. So, the night will pass without any incident. The
When
following
it comes,
morning, there's a low mist hanging out over the fields. Visibility's less than an eighth of a mile.
when it comes morning, can Anna just like ritual speak with animals? Like when she wakes up and go and find Ghost wherever he is right now.
Yeah, absolutely. Ghost would have been following pretty closely behind your horses, falling behind every now and then, but then catching back up as you slowed down, and then they would just be curled up on the front porch.
For scale, is he tiny or small?
He is currently small.
Okay. Yeah, she'll kind of open the door and let him in. Well, did you sleep well last night?
Kind of looks around the town, lets a little whimper out, and then comes inside.
Look who I found, sleeping out on the porch.
I just
Sure,
hope,
if Kaya was
Other
here,
than-
he would be thrilled to have Ghost here.
as long as you're feeding him, I don't care.
Yeah. It's what time would it be right now?
Early, probably about 6:37.
Oh, okay. Mm. Okay, sure. Yeah, she's going to, as soon as Skull comes in here, and oh god, and Althea reminds her that like pets need to eat food. She's she's going to find like the dankest corner of this place, and she's going to cast this good shroom,
Nice.
which
Lol.
which she's just gonna get 10 little mushrooms and pluck them from the little corner, and then
That's
feed
just a
one to
good
Skull.
reflavored good berry.
Yep.
Yeah, that's exactly what it is.
Amazing.
I had
She's
a
going to.
spore druid who, in a Ravnica game, Loxodon spore druid, who would just walk up and hold their hand out, and a bunch of mushrooms would grow out of their hand, and that was their good berry.
Yes. Yeah, so she's gonna go find Ghost and feed him one of the shrooms.
He looks at it a little bit apprehensively at first, but as soon as he gives it a sniff, he just munches down whatever you give him.
Well, useful for the rest of the day.
Yeah, she'll also swallow one as well. Just so she doesn't have to worry about it. I like because rations weigh so much. I threw all of them out, knowing that I would have that spell.
Yeah, rations actually weigh a surprising amount. But then again, rations are kind of heavy. Even MREs have a bit of heft to them.
Mm.
So, early in the morning, as you're all preparing to leave, the old man would limp and hobble his way back over. And as soon as the first person steps out the front door, he would kind of be like, "Did y'all see the show last night?"
Yes, it was a room with a view. Wonderful accommodations.
Haven't seen the fields act up that badly in... Oh, it's been about 60 years since I've seen him acting like that. No, 50 years.
Hmm. There's lots of strange occurrences going on right now, it seems.
It's that damn companion. I know it. I feel it in my bones. Gifts just don't show up for free.
You may
Were
just be
you-
right.
Were you here when the companion arrived?
I was in the city the day the vampire died. The day the light of the companion first arrived. They say Krieg is a savior, that he brought it upon them, that he prayed to the gods, but he leans in close. Krieg is no holy man. No god would hear his cry. So I left. I'm out here. I'll die out here.
Indeed, you will.
You
And she
so
can turn around
man.
and leave.
Well, I hope that when you do die, you won't have any regrets.
Person that lived without regrets lived a sheltered life. That's the way I see it.
Well, I thank you very much for letting us stay in these lodgings for the night. We must get going as soon as possible, so we'll be on our way.
He nods. He says, "No, travel safe."
Thank you
Say
very
hi
much.
to the family for us.
If they ever come back.
Oh, I'm sure they will.
So as soon as we're back on our horses and leaving, under Athea's voice, she'll just mutter, "I hate negotiating with people."
She's like incredibly charismatic, but she hates it every time.
Yep, yep, yep. She knows how to do it, but she hates doing it.
Oh, also, Anna would have distributed 2 good berries to everyone else. Just in case someone needs them, you never know what might happen.
Ooh, sweet.
Or berries.
Interesting. Are these drugs? Excellent.
Medicinal, mostly. A little bit of a trip immediately after eating them, but that's fine. And then she'll like see if she can like coax Ghost into getting onto the horse.
Make an animal handling check.
Fuck. But yes, there we go.
Okay. So Ghost is. So we'll say this: Ghost will allow you to pick them up at this point. But when it comes to the horse, as soon as you get near the horse, Ghost just starts bucking and like wiggling around frantically, and it becomes clear that Ghost would much rather walk.
Hmm.
But
Okay.
if you try to pick them up again, they will not stop you.
How much does he weigh?
He's light, maybe only about 8 or 9 pounds right now.
Oh gods, he is okay.
He's a little
Yeah.
skinny
Yeah,
as hell too.
she'll put him on his head. She'll put him on her head, and then get onto the horse.
Okay.
Lol.
He can like grip her crown.
All right. So there's like a death grip, doggy death grip right now as you get onto the horse with the dog, but they are holding on.
Onward, and she'll
Oh my gosh.
whip her horse and head off down the road.
As soon as the horse just goes, you just hear howling, not crying. But okay. So as you guys all continue westward, word is definitely you're beginning to outpace the word of what happened. As you're getting to towns, the towns are packing up instead of coming past abandoned towns. It looks like the people that are abandoning their towns are passing through these villages, and then spreading word of what happened, and then these people are also beginning to pack up and abandon and just head as far away from Elturel as they can. Every town you go to thinks that they're going to be next, that they're going to be dragged into the Nine Hells, that all of the Sword Coast, it's just a general panic. Everyone assumes that whatever happened in Elturel is just right around the corner from happening literally everywhere else. Most of these people are heading towards Baldur's Gate. Some of them are heading north. Some of them are heading south. And the entire time that you're traveling along the Chianta River, you get more and more rumors about strange battles taking place up in the fields of the dead up to the north of you. Of even every now and then you hear of skeletal soldiers marching in ranks towards villagers.
And it would
Towards these
stop.
people fleeing.
She's not scared of skeletons after what she did to the last one.
Okay, so another full day of travel passes, and I just did the math. It would technically take about 6 days hard travel. We'll say that you guys are making a breakneck pace though, so it'll only take 4. But day 2 does pass by without event. No more villages in a large open expanse of countryside. The last caravan you left behind shows that unless they were booking for Baldur's Gate just as fast as you are and getting there and would have left before you did, you are out ahead of the main flood of refugees. But the second night, at the end of the second night, as you're all beginning to make camp, could everybody please make perception checks for me?
Hey, a crit.
Yeah.
You hear the sounds of battle much closer this time. And the sound of marching footsteps. Sounds like hundreds, if not thousands, of soldiers are marching in unison. And the marching will subside, fade into the distance, and be replaced by the sounds of battle. Go ahead.
Can I make an insight to see if I can guess what that actually is?
Yes. Why don't you go ahead and make a history check?
Oh, that's even worse.
Insight wouldn't really be.
Oh, this is the one thing I studied about material history.
Right. So, countless battles were fought in these wide open hills throughout here. That is where they get their name, the Fields of the Dead. Every now and then, it's rumored that the dead march once more from these fields. It hasn't happened in 50 years, was the last time that it happened, and the last time it happened before that was 150 years ago. But whenever it does happen, it always seems to coincide with a calamitous event, like what happened here. But the Fields of the Dead are the sites of many battles, and it is not uncommon to see a spectral warrior wandering through as if they were wandering through a decimated battlefield, or even to see formations marching through. But to see it and hear it in such multitude only happens once every generation or so.
She's going to remark that she is starting to favor the Axe Coast, or whatever this is.
The Axe Coast. It's amazing. But as you hear the sounds of distant battle fading once more, just as they have every time, you do hear, especially Kroll and Trust to a lesser degree, you do hear what sounds like armor jingling and rattling, swords jostling in their scabbards, and what sounds like tack from a horse jingling. And by the light of your campfire, you see 2 large figures approaching out of the darkness directly towards your camp. They appear to be
I ready
mounted
my axe.
soldiers. What was that?
I just was saying I ready my axe just in case.
So a pair of them appear to be mounted soldiers, flanked on either side of them by two walking figures each. Appears to be a group of soldiers marching towards you.
We better stand down. But she's gonna shillelagh anyway.
As they approach, they're about they're about 30 feet in front of you all right now. You can barely see them. They stop at the base of the hill that you've made your camp on, and they are just staring up at you.
Do they look alive?
Make another perception check. First one was to hear them coming so they don't surprise you. This is to see if you can get a good look at what they are.
Oh.
It's hard to tell. It's dark.
Can I try two or?
Yep, you can always do up to 2 or 1 with assistance.
Okay.
Which direction are they in?
North.
Like over here? Okay, so over here. Yeah, she'll walk up to like the edge of the campfire and just kind of like lean on her quarterstaff. See something you like?
You hear the sounds of weapons drawing, and Kroll, it is apparent that these are way too thin, and you can see moonlight behind and through one of the horses.
I see something I don't like.
And with that, we are going to roll initiative as several skeletal figures begin marching up the hill as Anacola approaches them.
Oh yes. Aw.
Wow, these are terrible.
So this is the same day as we saw the old guy, right?
No, yes, I'm sorry. End of. So you would have. The last time you would have seen the old guy was the morning of, and this would be that evening.
Okay. Gotcha. So I'm gonna get rid of my spell slot that I granted.
Oh man, I love that group and hit button. So nice. Okay.
Oh god, it's our initiative.
Oh no!
Yeah.
Oh no!
We just we're about to get fucked. And Nicola's right out in front too. Oh my gosh.
So, a pair of skeletal riders. The first thing that happens is that these riders. Oh, let's go ahead and do this. So the first pair of skeletons begin making their way up the hill. And this one reaches you, Althea, and you see this was clearly once a soldier of Elsergard. The tattered remains of their clothing bear some of the insignia still, and they raise their sword and swing a short sword at you. It is only a 12 to hit, though.
That's a miss.
Okay. Followed directly by one that is mounted. The reins go up and down, and you just hear the smack of leather on bone. No neighing, no noise from either horse or rider as they come charging forward.
Woohoo.
Althea, it is a 13 to hit.
Is it Althea or is
Me
it?
or
I'm sorry,
Anacola?
Anacola.
13 misses.
Okay.
She kind of blocks it with her quarterstaff.
Okay. Okay. The horse, yeah, it rears up high in front of you, Anacola, and the horse itself tries to attack you with its hooves. 14 to hit. You guys are getting lucky so far.
14 also misses. She'll jump out of the way. I'm not as frail as I look.
Skeleton was marching up, as does the one that was next to it. roll. One of the skeletons squares up directly in front of you, swings a short sword at you with an 11 to hit. Jeez.
Yay! No
Right,
hit.
That was certainly a lucky first round. All right. Anacola, we're up.
Gods, or lack thereof. Okay, so these. Okay. All right. Just check this real quick. All right. She is going to. She's going to put her fingers to her lips and whistle really loud. And cast fairy fire.
Nice.
The tens of hundreds of fireflies from the surrounding area are swarming towards them.
Okay, which ones are you casting it towards?
Oh, sorry, my bad.
20 foot.
Can I, do you see this?
Yep.
So these in
Got
in
it.
like this way. So like
Dex saves.
not crawl.
Not cruel. All right. All right. DC for Dex save is 13. Okay. Where is my damage now? It's not there. First skeleton saves. Next one fails. You have fairy fire on this one. Next skeleton.
Yeah, just fireflies envelop its entire body. Nice. Let's go.
Okay.
The horse.
The horse. Thank you. Succeeds.
Yeah, she already has Shillelagh active, and that's all she can do. That's her turn.
That is going to bring us to Trust. Oh, you know what? I should have rolled Kaio. Got him in here. Not right now. Okay, Trust. Kaio will act directly after you.
Okay. I am going to. Trust is going to back up to the edge of the campfire's light. A little back up in the darkness a bit, but can see the glimmering zombies, skeletons.
Okay.
Yeah. And will just touch that space in front of it again and fire a Eldritch Blast at the at this one.
16 hits. And which one were you shooting at? I'm sorry.
This one in front. Oops, I don't know why it hit that one. Where is my? There you go. 8 force damage.
Right.
That's my turn.
Brings us to the next mounted skeleton. And I'm sorry, just give me one moment while I test a macro real quick. Perfect. Okay, good. All right. So the next mounted horse comes riding up to get right in between Althea and Anacola. The skeleton is going to take a sword swing at Anacola. That is a 22 to hit for
Yes.
8 piercing.
Oh.
Ah!
Oh no.
The horse rears up, brings its hoofs down towards Althea. Oh, there goes concentration.
Oh, shit.
And that was on fairy fire, right?
Mhm.
Althea, the hooves. The hooves is a 16 to hit.
That's a miss.
Right. Althea, you're up.
Alright. Althea will try to taunt the one up there and be like, focus on me, you dumb skeleton. As she is going to then hit it with her spear. I'm gonna go ahead and activate Hexblade's Curse as well on this mounted one here.
Okay.
Come on. Roll.
Ooh, no.
Wow.
Roll 20, everybody.
Wow. Wow. Okay then. I guess I end my turn. Wow.
And we still have one skeleton remaining up there, wading into the fray. Pearl, you're up. Oh, we got Kaio needs to act. Let me get them in there real quick.
Okay.
Kaio, Moon, would you like me to run it, or would you like to?
I'd rather you run it.
You got it. So Kaio is going to rush up. You guys are level 2 cutting action? Oh, beautiful. Kaio level his character up. He did not.
Yeah, we're not level. Oh wait, are we level 2?
Yeah, you guys should have
Are we
hit
level?
Did I not?
That
No,
was
you
not
didn't
made
say that.
aware.
Level 2?
Yeah, we didn't know that.
Pause. Go ahead and level up, everybody. I am so sorry.
Oh.
my
I
God.
have been at
Oh.
the very end of last session. I am so sorry.
I can do so
forgot.
many more
Oh
things.
my
Yes.
god, that makes a huge difference.
Pause.
3.
That is
Yes,
very
I am so
different.
sorry, everybody.
Oh my
yes,
God.
You were supposed to level up as soon as you saw El Toro fall. That is my bad.
Oh. Excellent.
Yes, pause, level up. Anyone that's taken damage, Althea will just remove that 8 from you once you're done leveling up.
That is so many different things.
Yeah, that's
Oh
a
my
huge
God.
difference. I am so sorry.
I already have my subclass now.
I can get my Elder certifications.
Same here.
I opened up Kaio's sheet. I'm like, why does he only have oh. Alright. Kaio only gets cunning action at level 2, so I'm just gonna go ahead and level him up. Sure, he won't mind. And it's a bit of a difference there. Sorry about that, everybody.
So, let's see, I wanted...
Yeah, whenever I run this game, I always end the whole Fall of El Toro prologue, that first session, with then everyone could level up to 2. That's the entire reason we do that prologue, is to get you guys to 2 before you get to Baldur's Gate.
No.
Yeah, I can prepare another spell. I like.
Right? Yeah, I am so sorry.
I can-
I totally didn't realize that I had not given you guys the word to level up yet.
I can wild shape now.
So I can't take pack weapon yet, right? Until I hit level 3?
Warlocks get their proper subclasses or their secondary subclasses at level 3. Yeah.
Yeah. Can't take pack weapon yet. Guess agonizing blast would be the way to go.
Let me know when you guys are ready to get back into it.
So I will note this now, because I'm getting my Eldritch Invocation. I'm taking Fiendish Vigor, and the idea is that I'd be constantly casting it since I can cast it for free at any time.
What is it?
Fiendish Vigor.
Fiendish Vigor
Fiendish-
gives you.
Yeah,
Yeah,
you can
it
cast False
gives
Life
you-
on yourself at will at first level spell, without spending a spell slot or material component, so I can just cast it as many times as I want.
Wait.
So the idea is I'd keep casting it until I get 8 HP from it, like constantly.
Yes,
Like the
I've
moment I
actually
wake up, I'll keep casting.
seen similar things before. You're good to go.
Yep.
this loading bar.
Basically increasing my HP by 8 was a temp HP. Okay, this is getting replaced with.
This loading bar for the character man.
Character Man's just giving you a loading bar that won't go away.
Mm-hmm. Should I close out of the tab and then open it up again?
Second. Yeah, go ahead and close the tab, open it back up again. It should have saved everything up until you hit the apply changes button.
Oh, yep.
Oh,
Sorry.
okay. The Roll20 just seems to be having some issues right now.
Oh, the bars
It's super slow.
going slowly.
Yeah, it's very slow.
But I do it with my hand. Oh, I also get my. Oh god, so many different things now. I get readied spells as well. I forgot about that.
Right, Kroll and Kaya are just like, we're done. like just a couple buttons to press and the level up is over.
I'm done now
Too many choices.
Yeah, warlocks get a shit ton of options.
Yeah,
depending on-
I wasn't even thinking about which invocations I wanted yet.
Oh,
feel
I can
free-
really?
Feel free to change them
Probably, yeah.
later. I know we're rushing it right now, so if you want to just pick one and then you can swap it out for a different one later.
I have a completely different play style. I'm already planning out what feats I'm taking at level 8.
Nice.
I think months in the future
Right.
for no reason. It does not benefit me at all.
It
But
does- I totally feel that though. Like whenever I get to be a PC, I'm just like, I know we're starting at level 1, but I have a plan for level 12 that I have.
exactly, I'm already planning on like, yeah.
I mean, my fan goes all the way up to like level 9 right now, so.
Nice.
Yeah, my other one, I'm like, the evocations, I still level 1 there, but I'm taking much less optimal ones. I'm taking like Misty Visions and Mask of Many Faces.
Jeez, I am so sorry, guys. This is like a teeth-kicking encounter at level 1.
Yeah, no kidding.
Yeah, I was gonna say we
now-
are dead.
Yeah,
we are all
I'm like,
going
we're
to die.
dead. We're dead.
I saw Nicola go like into orange after just one hit. I'm like, oh my gosh,
Oh
she's
my
gonna
God.
go down, and we're all gonna go down.
Yeah, I have almost 20 hit points now. I have really good constitution.
I'm at 25 hit points now. It's a huge difference.
Okay, so Kroll's ready.
I think
As
I'm-
soon as you guys are ready to get back into it, just drop the readies in the chat. Is everyone's character mancer working yet? Or we still got endless
No.
loading bars?
I'm just gonna manually look up the spore features.
Okay.
Is this still recording, by the way?
Oh yeah, yeah. Don't worry though. Like, these videos are not like. First off, they don't get very many views. I think the most viewed one.
No,
I have
no,
is
no, I
the
know, I
first one.
No, I know. It was just, I thought it was funny. Like all designing our characters mid thing.
Right. Yeah, and we do level ups mid session relatively often, especially since we have a couple of newer players in this group. I like to do level ups mid session so that we can help them out if they need it and all that kind of good stuff. But yeah, trust me, if you go back and watch some of the older videos on the channel, there's plenty of blooper reels, many a blooper reel to be had. I am not perfect. Like that one encounter in Storm King's Thunder, where like I let you guys just completely kick the crap out of that hill giant because it was prone, and then later found out like, oh, that's not how prone works. That was a wonderfully embarrassing moment for me as a DM. But it also had one of the moments you guys are still talking about today when Frederick got dangled in the air by Dandy like a piñata. It was the same session.
Okay, I'm done.
Okay.
Frost is ready.
Go ahead and drop a ready in the chat.
I should note, by the way, the environment that just because of like the monsters or creatures that Anna would have access to, she grew up in like forest, so she, like the forest animals.
Cool. Let me know what the most common ones that you're going to get are, and I'll be sure to drop them into your journal so that you have access to them and give you control over them and everything.
Mhm.
If you just want to toss me a list at some point of the most common ones you'll use.
Yeah, definitely giant badger.
Giant badger is just like. Okay.
Could I retroactively change, because the fairy fire didn't actually help, because the advantage that he was granted was his first roll anyway. Could I retroactively take that back?
Yeah, that's fine. That's fine. Would anybody else like to retroactively change anything since I totally messed up and not letting you guys be level 2 before this fight?
I want to retroactively reroll my double 1.
I'm also going. How does the temporary hit points work again?
So there's a couple different ways that you can do it. One of the ways is in your character sheet. You can go into the main health bar section there on your character sheet and do where it says current hit points. You can do like 15 plus 5, but that's to improve max HP. Your temporary hit points, the easiest way to do it is to go into your character sheet and just add those manually right underneath your current hit points.
Oh, okay. So I'll be aware of them.
Yep. Alternatively, I do have players that like to put them in the red box. When you click on your token, you have those 3 boxes on the right that pop up. Health, armor class. I do have players that like to drop their temporary hit points into that 3rd box.
Okay. Does that? Okay. Yeah, I'll just do that then.
The only way to officially make them show up on your health bar itself is to add them directly to your character's, like, your main health. So the green box there, you can do it that way as well.
Yeah. Okay. So instead of fairy fire, she's going to activate 1 use of her, what is it called? Oh gods, symbiotic entity. Which would give her temporary hit points, which would absorb the blow, which was 8 damage. You said
it was 8, indeed.
Okay, so the whole symbiotic entity feature is gone, but she's still at full health.
Nice, awesome.
It only gives her 8 hit points.
I mean, 8 hit points is that entire hit from that skeleton, so.
Yeah, but it's still.
Okay. Now, since we did skip Kaio in that first round of initiative, Kaio is going to take a shot at that skeleton right there with his rapier. That's 16 to hit, which does hit, and we are going to add sneak to that. 6 at this level. Already on there, nice. And Kaio absolutely obliterates the first skeleton.
Sweet.
Brawl, you're up.
All right. So I'm going to run straight forward to that horse. And I am going to take out my axe. Well, I already have it ready. And I am going to take a swing at the skeleton next to me first. The one that's hurt.
Okay.
This one, just so I can take it out. Hopefully.
15 hits.
Okay.
it drops in a heap of bones and old rags.
Sweet. And I have my shield in my other hand, so I can't really do anything. So I'll just stay there.
Brings us to the skeleton closest to Althea, who is going to jab out with their short sword. Althea is a 16 to hit.
Another miss.
Back around to Kaio. He's going to step back. Steps and sheath his rapier, draw his short bow, and take a shot at the skeleton right there. And unfortunately miss. Kroll, the skeleton on that horse in front of you, is going to rear up the horse and drop the hooves down on you first. 18 to
Okay.
hit with the hooves.
My armor class is 18.
Beat to beat. So it is going to be 9 bludgeoning to Kroll.
Dang it. All right.
Then follows up with
cool.
the short sword.
This is the one acting, right?
Yes.
Okay, I'll use my Halo of Spores, so it has to make a con save
Got it.
real quick.
Is this necrotic or poison damage that does?
It's necrotic, because I'm not using the skag.
It does get a 12.
Okay, that fails.
Okay.
So
All right, so 9 damage.
9 damage from the
one
hooves.
necrotic.
Yeah, 1 damage. Does the horse have to as well, or is it just one target?
Is it the horse's turn?
It's the skeleton's turn, but the horse acts on the same initiative as the skeleton as it is mounted.
No, I can only attack one.
Oh, Kroll is a 19 to hit with the short sword for another 3 piercing.
Dang it. All right.
That skeleton's down, as is that one. Anicola, you're up.
All right, I still have one use of Wild Shape, so I am going to become a wait, no. First, I'm going to hex this one. Wait, I'm gonna cast hex on this guy.
Okay.
And since it's a racial ability, I have to like put on Constitution on myself or concentration. How does that work?
You just click on your token, and that little circular icon directly below the gear.
Yes.
You click on that, it is the stopwatch icon for concentration.
All right. And then she is going to wild shape into a giant badger.
Nice.
Just real quick while I get up its stats.
So you are going to go into the gray outside the map for a moment, Anicola.
Oh.
I'm gonna drop the badger in. Giving it vision now. Badger doesn't have dark vision,
yeah.
does it?
It does.
It does. Fantastic. So it's already set up. Cool.
For 30 feet. Though, so it's not pretty far.
Yep. It's already there. Yes. So I already have this set up for somebody else at some point.
If you ever need access to some animals, I have access to like a massive character vault for animals.
Yeah, I have one too.
Nice.
Okay, cool.
I have an app. So would it provoke an opportunity attack if I burrowed beneath the ground?
What's the burrow speed?
10 feet.
Interesting. So by the time that you got out of its range, technically, I feel like half of your body would already be underground, so I'm going to say yes, but you will have 3/4 cover.
Okay, I'll burrow beneath the ground.
Okay. Takes a swing at you with the short sword, and misses horribly.
Okay, nice. Yeah, and that'll be her turn.
Nice. All right. Trust her up.
I am going to cast Hex on. Oh, this one. Actually, you know what? this one over here.
Okay.
Does that do that?
So
Nope.
many hex.
Nothing popped up.
The macro did not work. So I will.
It's because you leveled up. Let me change that real quick. It may or may not work now if you tried it.
I don't want to try. Right. I should have one. I should have 2 slots, but
Okay.
make that up again because I only used once. Okay. So hex on this one. And I will fire a Eldritch Blast at it.
Oh, nice.
The damage plus the hex damage, which is 15 on this one.
It bursts into bone fragments and dust, little bits of rags, and splintered armor falling away as it does. It is down.
Nice. Stay still.
Okay.
My turn.
Skeleton mounted here is going to rear its horse's hooves up to take a swing at Althea. Althea misses with a 9.
Yep.
Once the hooves hit down onto the ground, it is going to follow right behind with the short sword. Short sword attack is only a 7 to hit,
Also misses.
and you are up.
And I'll just laugh like, this is why undead are just a joke. Can't hit anything. All right.
Several Nightwalkers just come floating in out.
All right. So there's 3 of them near me. It's probably worth doing this. I'll go ahead and do this. There we go. Ooh, nice roll.
Arms of Dar, nice.
And that'll hit the horse and the 2 skeletons.
Okay, so DC 13 strength saves from the horse
Yep.
and both skeletons.
Yep.
I realized I also got another spell slot from online.
Nice.
Yeah, I added my spell slot back in because I only casted 1 spell now.
Half on success.
Yep.
3 failures.
Cool. And they all lose their reactions.
Nice. Okay.
So then we can do a grand total of nothing else. That'll be my turn.
That skeleton
As a bunch of hands come out of the ground and just grab them all over.
All right, so I am going to attack the skeleton on top of the horse with my battle axe.
Okay. 10 is not going to do it, Kroll.
Screw it, I'm doing it. Sessional inspiration.
You got it. 24 hits.
Okay.
Oh no.
From 4.
Rip.
Oh crap.
It happens. Oh, man.
And I think I'm gonna do my action surge,
Nice.
and I will attack again. Same skeleton. Oh my gosh.
Oh my god! That is the second
That is the
time!
second double nat 1.
Wow.
That was a waste. Okay. So bonus action, I will do my second wind.
Another nat 1.
So second wind is a D10
Plus
plus
your fighter
2,
roll. Yep.
so 9.
Not bad.
It's
It's okay.
definitely not bad.
Yeah. Okay, and that's my turn.
This is
Althea,
such.
the skeleton on its feet comes charging towards you and crits you. It is 24
Wow.
to hit with a crit for 10 piercing.
Alright. As she goes to deflect it, it sneaks underneath your shield. Ow.
Ow. Right. Kaio's going to come around here next to Trust and let loose with his short bow on the one next to Althea. Yeah, the one next to Althea. 17 to hit is going to hit. Does take that one down. Brings us back around to the skeleton that is locked in combat with Krull.
Okay.
Moves first. 20 to hit Krull.
Gosh, yeah.
He's the hooves hit hard. It is 12 bludgeoning Krull.
Oh shit. Okay.
Short sword attack is for 16 to hit.
No, that misses.
Okay. Anacola, you're up. Badger in the ground.
Finally, okay. 10 feet of movement. They come out of the ground. Then, they are going to multi-attack this skeleton. That is a +3. So
It has macros. You can just use its claws there, or its bite, whichever.
oh, where how do? Oh, if I
Strength?
click on it. Oh, yep, I see.
And then over on the left-hand side, you'll see bite and claws.
Yep.
Oh,
Oh shit!
oh, you're whispering to me. Let me turn that.
Let's
up real quick.
go.
That is a crit,
Oh,
everybody.
I'm
He does
so
crit the
god.
skeleton.
Nice.
Nice.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, my bad. Okay. So then I just click on the attack button. Am I still whispering, or can I click on it now?
Changing it right now. Always whisper rolls, never whisper rolls. Okay. You're good to go. Badger Anacola crits the skeleton.
Ooh. Okay. So
Nice.
that is 11 piercing and from Hex. That is 14 damage.
That is.
But
What?
they also have a claw. Wait, actually, is it like it? Because they can attack again. So is it like? How's it doing?
It is very dead. It has been shattered.
Oh,
into
okay. Then the claw
pieces.
attack. Is it a living horse or a skeletal horse?
It is a skeletal horse.
Okay, then the claw attack goes to the skeletal horse. Oh, and also bonus action hex onto the skeletal horse. Because the hex is already active.
Okay.
Holy fuck!
Wow, what is happening today?
My rolls are
Nice.
much better than y'all. This happened last time too.
All right. She just
Nice.
obliterates
Nine.
that skeletal warhorse in badger form, just doing work. So 9, 14. That horse crumbles to piles of bones on the ground.
Let's go. At first she was falling apart,
Yeah.
but now she's a tank. And then after that, there's nothing over here, so she's just gonna go like over there. And that'll be her turn. Wait, no, sorry, right here.
Got it. Trust, you're up.
Bonus action, move my hex over to the remaining horse. Then I will. Another Eldritch Blast at it.
Hey!
Yeah.
Oh. Yep. That'll be a 11 force damage plus hex, which
Now the crit's
is
coming out.
And I'm sorry, did you see we were aiming at the horse or the skeleton?
the horse.
Okay, nice.
So that'll be 14 damage in total.
Right.
Make sure you readjust your spell slot. Because you didn't cast it again.
Yeah, I'll fix it.
Does the hex damage not double with crits as well? I guess it's separate.
Good question.
What is it?
Does
That's
it?
the internet.
What was the question?
Does hex crit?
Damage as.
Oh.
Didn't it? It's.
I
Jeremy
would
Crawford
think
says,
so,
yep.
or maybe. Oh shit.
Yes.
Okay. That. Well, I
The
guess they're
double,
both
or
dead
do you want me to
already.
roll a
It's
d6?
literally, does the damage dice from hex double on a critical? And Jeremy Crawford, only thing he said was yep. So.
All right.
So
I
do
guess
you
I'll
want me to roll another d6
Yeah, go
or
ahead.
or
yeah, roll
okay.
another d6.
I was gonna say if I should do it, but they're both dead already.
19 damage in total.
I mean, you could make them more dead if you would like. Just like
Yeah,
pound on
there
the
you go.
bones a little bit.
Yeah, they're dust. Like.
So that
just
the
shatters.
the horse also flies back 10 feet because I have a new invocation, which is repelling blast. So I don't know what happens to the skeleton that's riding on top of it.
I am going to say the skeleton will have to make a dexterity saving throw or take the d6 fall damage from falling 10 feet.
Nice.
It just goes flying.
Right, just flying, somersaulting through the air. And. Oh my god. It's a nat 1. But somersaulting through the air lands squarely on top of its head, and you all just hear the crunching sound as it takes 4 bludgeoning damage, which, incidentally, is exactly how many hit points it had left.
Nice.
Damn, I don't even get to
This,
blast it.
this fight was a roller coaster.
We're dead, but also no.
Then we
I'll
wrecked
just-
it.
I'll
That
just
was
blast
awesome.
skeleton just to make sure it's dead.
All right, everybody, we can go ahead and drop out of initiative. Nice, I love
All right.
that ends at the end of the song. It's my favorite.
That happened so often in one campaign that I was playing. It was amazing. Every time something dramatic happened, it would pick up. It was
Right.
destined.
That is the best. It's one of my favorite things about music. Like, having the music going actually helps with like narrative pacing too, because like even if you're doing it subconsciously, you still track along with the music. It's cool.
Can Anna go over to one of the rocks and try and bash one of the badger's teeth out?
Your own teeth?
Sure, yes.
Yes.
So Anacola would like to bash her own badger face against a rock to try and harvest some of her own teeth.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely.
That's hilarious.
Yeah.
That is hilarious.
Okay.
Now
Do I
the
need to
question
roll
is,
for that?
do the teeth turn back to humanoid teeth after you've switched back? That's the question.
That is a
I'd
very
be
good
okay with that.
question.
I'd be okay with that. Do I take damage from this?
We'll say you take 1 point of bludgeoning.
Okay, cool.
Just bashing your own face with the rock. I love it.
Okay. So that's temporary HP anyway. Okay, so as soon as that happens, she'll pick it up into her mouth and go over to Althea, and then kind of like nod her head at Althea's hand.
Oh, right. I'll grab the tooth with like a cloth or something that on me, and just like grab it.
There we go. Okay. Ugh.
There we go. Okay, just had to do that. All right, good.
This form is very exhausting. It moves so fast. I don't like it.
If you don't like it, why'd you transform into it?
Again, it's very fast.
Well, if it's very
and hits very, very hard.
yeah, apparently you bashed that horse in. Well, I'm tired. I'm going to bed.
Yeah, she's gonna go curl up with what is it? Ghost.
Right. Travis is just chilling in the back. All right, everybody. So that was at the very beginning of the night. So you can all go ahead and take a long rest. Oh, sorry.
That was noted, like the telepathic message was noted as like the one useful part of being a hexblood druid. Uh, I just like it because it's just like the vibes,
Yeah,
but
it definitely is the vibe for sure.
it is very mechanically useful.
Yeah, it really is. Especially like later when you all end up in like dungeons and things like that, where it's real easy to get separated just around a corner. Like having something like that would be super useful.
Mhm. Also, druids don't get sending, and that's sad. Sending's my favorite spell.
Sending's a good one. Sending is a very popular. They end up having to use it a lot in my in the Storm King's Thunder game, and it's always amusing to see what can get done in 25 words.
The warlocks have it as well for like, but they get it forever if they have like a book. It's pretty cool as well. Anyway, can we wake up to Anna playing her, what is it? Her pan flute. I want to see if she does pretty good with it.
Go make a performance check.
All right. Amazing. However,
Oh, what
it
is
is the
that
most.
noise?
The moment I hear that noise, I like pick up a rock and like chuck it at the noise.
Well, as disgusting and ear-piercing as the sound is, it is a mildly magical flute that attracts harmless local fauna when played,
Awesome.
no matter how disgusting the noise is. So the rock just like hits a deer or something.
Yeah, goes flying past Anicola, and there's just like a deer standing there. It's like shakes its head as a rock hits its flank. Walks up closer to Anicola.
Breakfast?
Oh yeah. Do y'all want to do that, or like? Oh, the deer, you mean? Oh.
I do like me some venison.
Mm.
Just watched The Witcher, and for some reason, the part sticks with me so much when they offer him breakfast, and he says, "I've eaten venison." Like, I don't know. I don't know why. I think it's just because like that introduction to the series was just like so sad but so fitting. Because like I totally thought the deer had gotten away. Like, sorry if I'm spoiling the first 5 minutes of The Witcher for anyone.
Darn it!
I was never gonna watch it.
For sure, it's fine.
It's on my
Yeah.
watch list too. No, I'm not gonna watch it.
Oh, I'm sorry. I accidentally ruined the first 5 minutes of the show for you. I'm so sorry.
One of you can press to digitate. Yes.
I think I can. Let me check real quick. Yes, I can.
All right. She'll pick up her quarterstaff, shillelagh, and then bonk the deer over the head again.
Oh God! Oh no! Like, come to me, magical forest animals. Listen to the sweet song of the bonk.
Yeah, she wants to save her spell slots. So she'll so if someone will make the fire again, she'll just drag the deer over.
Okay.
Cook a little breakfast.
That'll be breakfast for quite a few days.
Yeah, really.
Yeah, go ahead and make a survival check. We'll see if you can You can
Make some rations out of it.
I
make some
burn
rations.
it.
I mean, I'm assuming with magic and everything, you'll be able to dry it out relatively quickly. Awesome.
There we go.
So yeah,
Sweet.
we'll say that you're able to get 10 usable rations out of that.
Nice. I'll put it in the group loot.
Delicious fresh meat.
If we're turning it into rations, it'd probably be dried meat.
Yeah. And probably salted as well.
Yeah, she'll eat a bit of it raw, and then head towards their horse, which I'm hoping weren't scared away.
Every now and then, while you're just working on preparing the venison, Ghost will just come up and start gnawing on a leg or something.
Well, we have to get to the gate of Balder any day now, so we best be heading off.
Alright, well, after we eat a delicious meal, let's go.
Right, so you now find yourselves way out in front of the main refugee group, but you're still finding small towns and small, like, little farmsteads and things like that have already heard about what happened. Riders were clearly way out ahead of you all, and from where you were standing, the calamity that befell Elturel could be seen from miles around. So even at your pace, it has become clear that word will reach Baldur's Gate before you all do. So, with that, the next couple days of travel do pass relatively uneventfully. The farther away from Elturel you get, the less frequent the sightings of those spectral battles and armies marching through the fields of the dead become, until you near Baldur's Gate, and they become almost entirely non-existent. In fact, when you get closer to the city, it becomes difficult to even see that a major calamity has befallen the region. More and more people are kind of looking towards you all. They see which direction you're coming from, and you're getting kind of off glances from passersby as you get closer and closer to Baldur's Gate. But at near the end of your 4th day of travel, the sun is beginning to set. It's getting a bit cooler. You can begin to smell the faint ocean breeze as it pushes in from the coast. Not too often, as you are still several miles away from the coast, but every now and then the wind catches it just right. And you're beginning to hear what sounds like crowds as you approach Baldur's Gate. And as the gates of the city begin to come into view, you begin to see a lot of people crowded around the gate, and what looks to be a flood of people trying to leave the city. And as you all approach, this is where we're going to go ahead and take our break. When we come back, we will see what's going on at the gates of Baldur's Gate.
By the way, how many
Sounds good.
days did it take?
It took 4 days. This is
That
the
to
end
get
of
here.
the 4th day.
Okay. Okay, I'm just gonna say all the rations are gone. Because they ate them all.
If you'd like, before we take our break, you can make a survival check, whoever would like to, again, to see if you could find any more venison or any other such animals while you're out there. Anything above a 15 will net you another 10 rations. There you go.
This game turned around so much as soon as we leveled up. You said how many? 10 rations, right?
10 more, yep. All right, everybody. We will be back here at 10 minutes later from right now. All right. So, welcome back, everybody. And welcome to Baldur's Gate. It is a veritable nest of rats and vipers clinging to the rocky slopes overlooking the Chiantar River. From their high perches in the upper city, the local nobles, known as patriarchs, gaze down with veiled contempt upon the common rabble in the grimy lower city. Lower city hugs the foggy harbor, and the whole of Baldur's Gate reeks of blood, crime, and, of course, opportunity. One can easily fathom why pirates and traders are drawn to this place like flies to a carcass. Following the river farther east would eventually have led you all to Elturel, the capital of the Holy Land of Elturgard. Or at least that was the case a few days ago. There has been many refugees heading in this direction from Elturel, and the flood of people is only getting worse as you all arrive, and as news has clearly reached the city before you all that Elturel has fallen. The word that you all hear as people pass you by is that Baldur's Gate is next, but no one truly knows who or what has claimed Elturel. The Patriarchs pay a mercenary army called the Flaming Fist to protect their interests in Baldur's Gate, and by extension, the city itself. Flaming Fist has gained even more power since their charismatic leader, Ulder Ravengard, who you all met earlier, claimed the title of Grand Duke only a few years ago. But now, Ravengard is missing, assumed to have been dragged down with Elturel. In his absence, the Flaming Fist has sealed the city's gates to staunch the potential flow of refugees, as they have most certainly heard that hundreds, if not thousands, of people are now flowing towards the city. As a result, no one is allowed in or out. Dozens of Flaming Fist soldiers are trying to control an angry mob of commoners eager to exit the city, and a fight breaks out between soldiers and commoners. Just as all of this happens, you are spotted by the one-eyed Captain Zoj as he wades through the fray in your direction. To many, this is just another day in the City of Blood. So, a few of you that were from Baldur's Gate, especially the ones that traveled with Ulder Ravengard, recognize Captain Zoj immediately as he comes marching towards you all. He is a very recognizable man. He would come marching towards you all, and with Ulder Ravengard gone, and the other higher-ranking officials of the Flaming Fist being stationed elsewhere throughout the Sword Coast, Captain Zoj, as well as several other captains of the exact same rank, are technically in charge now. You can see that an influx of people are coming towards the city, and yet even more are trying to force their way out of the city. People trying to flee from what they believe is a potential calamity about to befall Baldur's Gate as it did Elturel. As you approach the gates, Captain Zoj approaches you, and he says, "By the gods, where have you lot been?" He looks specifically towards Kaio, and I believe his trust is also from Baldur's Gate, having been sent out with the contingent with Ulder Ravengard. He would approach you and say, "By the gods, where have you lot been? Where is Ulder?"
Back down with the rest of the city, I can imagine.
This is the first confirmation of that. Are you sure you haven't seen him since the city fell?
Yep. But we saw the city get dragged down by chains, and fire and brimstone and whatnot, so can't be sure. Have you heard of it from him? Has anyone else come by?
You're the first ones back from the party that went. The group that went to Elturel. This is the first confirmation we've gotten of what actually happened there from someone that we can trust that was there to see it. So it's true then. Chains erupted from the ground and dragged the city below the earth.
This is what we saw, unless we've been eating terrible mushrooms.
He kind of looks towards you, Anakola, and he says, "What?"
She's taking the form of her paladin again. She disguised herself to look like the paladin.
Okay.
But there's still like little mushrooms like growing out of her neck.
Nice. Zoj kind of shakes his head. He says, well, we've still got problems here to deal with. He waves around, says, "We are about to have a major refugee crisis on our hands," says Captain Zoj. "What happened in Elturel has stoked fears that Baldur's Gate may suffer the same fate. Ravengard was supposed to be visiting on some sort of diplomatic mission when the city was destroyed, and I don't think that was a coincidence. They've never called us to the table like that before, and then the day they do, the city's destroyed. I don't like it." Don't like
Yeah,
the
so
Elter
there's-
Guards. Self-righteous hell riders. If I see one of them, I'll throw him in irons.
Even quite convenient, but who knows? They had that glowing ball of light in the sky as well. Might have had something to do with it, so we might be safe. Who knows?
Commoners say it turned black, shot lightning out of it before it was taken.
Well, we don't have one of those around here, do we?
He looks up. No. Knights of Eltergard call themselves Hell Riders. Word is a few of them escaped the destruction. They think we're somehow to blame for Elturel's downfall. Bunch of self-righteous rabble-rousers. I've ordered my men to arrest them on sight if they're seen. You wouldn't happen to know of any Hell Riders coming in with you, would you?
She'll get rid of her fountain form.
Us is gonna kind of like side eye them and, no, these ones were with us.
Well, now that you're back, we have plenty of things to get done right around here, and I need your help. Baldur's Gate needs your help. He leans in, says, long have we been plagued by the followers of the Dead Three. God's Bane, Ball, and Merkel. We thought we wiped them out, but they've been surging up from the sewers like rats. So apparently not. These purveyors of fear and death are taking advantage of the current crisis to commit murder sprees throughout the city. He reaches into a bag and pulls out 5 badges. He says, I'd like to appoint you all as deputies, as my deputies in this matter. You have a license to kill those wretches on sight, find their lair, wipe it out, eliminate anyone who gets in your way. Don't you worry about the collateral damage, we'll take care of that. If you do what I say, I'll say that each of you receives 200 gold pieces in addition to my gratitude, which is worth far more than coin.
You could see Trust was about to like say no to the badge, but as soon as he heard the money, he's like said nothing.
Althea will at this point step up and she'll kind of give him like that, you know, nice but menacing look. You know, kind of smile at him menacingly, and
He smiles back at you.
uh, as much as all of this is going on and all this sucks and all, well, as I do enjoy killing cultists, I am very much what you might call the type of person who works for an affordable price. 200 gold is okay for an amateur, perhaps, but if you want us to wipe out this city and in a good pace, maybe more along the lines of 300 gold pieces would be more worth my time.
Kind of tilts his head back. That's the mercenary spirit. Go ahead and roll a persuasion with advantage. Done. 300 each. But I am going to need hard evidence that you have found their lair and destroyed it.
Althea will give a nice little smile and be like, "Oh, believe me, you'll know." And she'll put out her hand to shake on it.
Yeah, he immediately reaches out his hand and shakes back.
All right. I've always wanted a license to kill. It should be fun.
He smiles. He says, well, you've got it. Just don't kill anyone too important.
Got you.
A few blocks from the Basilisk Gate here is the Elfsong Tavern. There's a spy there named Tarina. She hangs out, she gambles, she gathers rumors for us. She owes me a favor. Tell her you work for me. Ask her what she knows about the Dead Three. And for the love of Baldurin, be careful. She's got dangerous friends and even more dangerous enemies.
Fair enough.
Be careful.
Shall we then? It seems we have some hunting to do. Although we probably want to secure some lodgings for the night.
So,
Places.
the location that he told you is a tavern and an inn. And it is relatively well known to those of you that have spent some time in the city. And he also, Captain Zodge, would have also given you all directions on how to get to the Elfsong Tavern.
Do we know where the bathhouse is that they had mentioned?
You have vague instructions on where it might be. You know a few things. You know that there is, in fact, a bathhouse, and the note that you said had read, "Head to the bathhouse in Baldur's Gate and retrieve our queen's stolen treasure." The bathhouse is located in the northern portion of the city. It says the northern portion of the lower city. Has a walled garden and frolicking nymphs carved into its front gates. If Duke Van Thamper thinks she can use our queen's treasure to buy the loyalty of the cult, she is sorely mistaken. And then it goes on, basically threatening whoever the note was to. But the northern part of the lower city is quite a large area. That would basically put it anywhere in like this whole area.
Okay, copy that. So we don't know exactly where it is.
But you guys can't see my radius rulers. So basically anywhere in like God.
Yeah.
Anywhere in there.
Well, let's go meet the spy of his.
So, those of you that are from the area would be able to direct the group directly towards the Elfsong. The Elfsong port functionary. Ooh, nice. Okay, so yeah, you would definitely have the lowdown on a lot of the different patriarch families. That will most certainly come into play a little bit later. The lower city is not a place for nobles or anybody like that, though. It is essentially the lower class. There is no real middle class in Baldur's Gate. It's the upper class and the super upper class in the upper city, and then the lower classes in the lower city, and of course the slums of the outer city. So those of you familiar with the area would know the Elfsong Tavern to be a very popular spot. From time to time, there's been known to have a disembodied female voice singing in Elvish that fills the air of the tavern. It is a rowdy place, the type of place that if you are unarmed in there, you are a fool, and everyone knows that. Fights break out pretty frequently. You know, it's just a really rough and tumble bar in the center of the Baldur's Gate's lower city.
Alright,
Well,
shall we
I'll
enter?
do some it.
Sounds like a fun place. I'm pretty excited. As she cracks her knuckles. She'll go ahead and open the doors, but not like trying to make a scene, just acting normal.
Oh, I don't have you guys on this map. One moment.
Althea slams open the doors.
That
Thaumaturgies the doors even louder.
That's a normal opening, isn't it?
Okay. So you can see inside from the glass of the windows that it is most certainly relatively crowded. There's a decent amount of people in there. You can see an enormous bouncer basically blocks out one entire window. Their back is to you at the moment. They seem to be watching the bar and watching the happenings that's going on inside.
I have a question. On the way here, would I have been able to pick up a dog collar?
A dog collar. What time would we say it is? We'd probably say it was about 6 or 7 o'clock when you all got here. Yeah, absolutely. There are plenty of small shops and little trading posts along the way, so we'll say you could have gotten a dog collar for, what, 1 silver?
Okay. I'll have a dog collar and a leash for for Ghost.
Nice.
I don't want people thinking he's stray.
Okay.
Yeah, she'll just be holding onto him. Oh, poor guy.
This is awesome. This is officially the party that has hung on to Ghost the longest.
Oh, oh no. Not going away.
Right. Okay. Alright, so it is a rough and tumble looking place. There is a massive half ogre standing standing next to the door. Althea? I'm sorry, Anacola, you said that you thaumaturgied the door open?
No, I was making a joke. I don't have
Okay.
thaumaturgy.
Okay.
Well, Althea would be happy to go first because she's not afraid of any fire.
The massive half ogre looks over towards you. Behave.
Oh,
There's
we'll
also
behave. We'll...
animated suit of armor to the left that looks towards you, and as soon as the half ogre says that, it nods its empty helmet.
She'll look at the two of them, just put her hands behind her head, you know, like I have no intention of starting anything, but I might finish it if something starts, and just continue walking.
As
Swaps and
Kaya,
he'll kind of,
go ahead.
he'll whisper, he'll say, "We're with the bard." No bard? Okay, fine.
There actually is a single, not really a bard, but there is a single person sitting at a chair just playing a little flute.
And going to give Kaio the leash to his dog and suggest that he stays outside.
Okay.
Keep in mind. Yeah, it's probably best you keep watch of your pup. She's gonna head inside.
So, Kaya would have recognized the bouncers at the front door, and he would have nodded and just said, "Skuna, clink," and then be outside playing with the dog.
Oh.
What was the person that we're trying to find in here?
Tarina was the name.
Rena?
Tarina.
Rena. Gotcha.
I'll head out to this person and I'll put a silver coin on the counter, and I'll be like, "I'll take a swig of your finest ale, please. And while you're at it, I might have a quick question for you.
Ask away.
I'm here in the search of one named Tarina."
Oh, yeah, I know Tarina. He's saying as he pours you a glass of really amber colored ale. And says, "Oh, yeah, I know Tarina. I know Tarina. She hasn't arrived yet, but she should be here any time now. She always shows up right around this time to head up and play a few games of Baldur's Bones upstairs."
Baldur's Bones. Interesting.
Aye, if you're looking to lose some coin, you can challenge her to a game.
Sounds like fun. I might take them up on that offer.
Oh, welcome in. Stick around long enough, you might get a performance of the Lady Elf of the house. She hasn't done any singing in the past couple days, so she's due any time now. Never goes this long without singing. Looks over towards one of the people, says, "How long has it been, Quaid?" 4 days. 4 days since he sang. Yeah. Never gone that long without singing the song before.
And do you happen to have any lodging here that we can use to stay while we're around the city?
Aye. I've got a couple rooms upstairs open. Let me see. I've got one suite and two smaller rooms available for rent right now. You can, of course, rent out one of the dining rooms and lay out your cots.
How much for the suite?
Suite. Oh, the suite runs. He checks his books and he's like, "Oh, I'm sorry. The suite's taken. That damn Sahuahu, whatever the hell they call those things. He's been in there for a week now. Well, I got the secondary suite open for you. That's only gonna be let's call it 4 silver for the night."
4 silver. All right.
Great.
So put down 4 silver.
What about the rest of you? We've got 2 more small rooms, and I've of course got the dining room. Any number of people could fit in there. I think one time we had 20 people sleeping in there.
Yeah, I'll take a room.
The smaller rooms is only going to be 2 silver for you.
Okay, sounds great.
Take one of those two.
You got it. So, as you all are negotiating with the rooms and getting some rooms and everything like that, you feel this sense of calm wash over you. And the man behind the bar kind of tilts his head back. Ah, there she is. Wait a second. She's never had strings in the song before. The entire bar quiets. And this song begins to play. Everyone is silent. Everyone's looking around confused. Anyone speak Elvish?
I can read Elvish, kind of, a little bit sometimes, but not really, no.
Nope.
I'm going to say follow along with the lyrics on this. Read the poem, listen to the song. It does become important. The tavern is looking around. Everyone's very confused. A general sense of disquiet and dread has fallen over everyone.
Althea just keep taking another deep swig of her ale, as if she's like unfazed by it.
Okay. You can present the unfazed, but you do still get that sense of dread. It's almost supernatural feeling that washes over everybody. Bartender begins looking around at all of you. See apprehension, suspicion in his face.
Suspicion, you say? I'll notice his gaze and and just say calmly, "Is there anything you need?"
I've owned this bar for near 70 years. I've heard every song that elf has sang. She has never sang those words until you lot walked through that door. What is this? What have you brought here?
Well, I can't say we brought anything here, considering we've never met her before or know anything about her. What she chose to sing was totally up to her. Takes another drink.
On us
Shakes his
Sparkins
head, says,
personalities.
what was that?
That we brought us sparking personalities, and he's giving a toothy grin.
He shakes his head. He's like, oh, I'm sorry, friends. I don't know what came over me. The song usually fills us with joy and hope. Never felt anything like that before. I'm sorry. The rest of the bar is slowly going back to their business. Says, here. Your next round's on the house. I didn't mean to accuse you all of anything. I'm sure you had nothing to do with that.
No,
Is
you
your
should
elf-
probably request something else.
Is that elf a prophet?
Oh, she's ancient. She died. Looks over. How long ago did she die? Man sitting over in the corner. Oh, about 150 years ago. About 150 years ago she passed, yeah. Before that, she'd been alive for almost 200 years. Great
Oh,
warrior she was.
Oh, so she was like a baby. Poor thing.
She did, in fact, die young for her kind. Well, anyways, Tarina should be getting here any time now. Have a round on the house. I'm very sorry for my accusatory tone I took with you earlier.
It's quite alright. Beer does make it a little better.
Uh,
What would
Anna's,
you like to do while you wait for Tarina?
Anna's gonna go over to this table, and she is going to bet some gold with them.
Was that where they're playing the bones?
No. These guys are just sitting around a table drinking. If you would come up and inquire about any gambling, they would just one of them, two of them would kind of give you just like the side eye and like the grump face, and then one of them would point up.
Yeah, Trust would kind of make his way upstairs to go check out the action.
Althea would
There's-
probably do the same because she's curious about how this game
Yeah.
works.
She'll follow Trust.
Same with Kroll.
Okay. Teleportation.
Oh. Anna's gonna be like flipping a coin in her hand as she walks in.
Oh, wonderful. Kaio has the bot vision. Let me give it to somebody else real quick. Crispy, okay if I give the bot vision on your token?
Yeah, do it.
Alright, so as you all walk up here, you see clones of the bartender. No, just kidding. These are just other commoners. Hanging out up here, there's a rather eclectic group of people up here. Sitting against the corner, there is a halfling, clothed mostly in like twigs and branches and leaves. And they are sitting cross-legged on a chair, and in front of them on a little table is just like this complete spread of like it looks like little tiny animal bones, rocks, pieces of dirt, like just it looks like complete randomness to probably everyone but Anacola. Very
Which table?
clearly the trappings of druidic magic.
Which table?
Right down here.
she's gonna ogle the things that they're playing with.
So they look up. Mind your business. This is my recipe. Come up with a new potion with all this.
My understanding that there's a game happening up here.
As you say that, you would hear several dice hit this table as these two engage in a game. So, would you all like to hear the rules of Baldur's Bones?
Yes.
All right. So, Baldur's Bones is a popular dice game in taverns of Baldur's Gate. Each player requires several six-sided dice, and the rules are as follows. Each player puts the agreed ante into the pot, betting however much gold you want to. Each player rolls 3 dice, then proceeds clockwise around the table, with the host of the game going last. On their turn, a player can choose to stand or roll. If the player stands, the next player can take a turn. A player who rolls takes an additional die and rolls it. If the total of their dice exceeds 21, they bust and are out of the game. Otherwise, they can keep rolling additional dice until they either stand or break. It's basically blackjack with six-sided dice. After everyone has had a turn, the highest point total, excluding players who busted, wins.
Wait, you say 3 6-sided dice?
3 six-sided dice.
So the max we can roll is 18.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I heard 21.
Yeah, you're trying to get as close to 21 as you can. So the max that you can roll without rolling a 4th dice is 18.
Gotcha.
It's basically encourages you to roll that 4th dice.
Okay, that makes sense.
So we start with 3 dice, and then we increase if we want to. That's basically how it goes.
Yep.
Okay.
So Scrawled, the two people at the table would introduce themselves. You have Scrawldar Fane. He is a shipwright. He smells of the sea and of old fish and unwashed sailors. Clearly hasn't taken a bath since he made port, and he has no eyebrows. That would be this man right here. The man accompanying him would introduce himself as Wall Knightley. He's a jovial, strong-jawed rat catcher, and whenever he laughs, it seems like the table shakes with just like the bellowing, deep loudness of it. So Scrawldar would look around and say, "Y'all ready for a game?"
Hell yeah.
Sure.
Always.
Points over towards Wall. Says, "Wall, why don't you go ahead and roll first?"
Is Trust being covered by someone?
Where is Trust?
I am
Underneath the...
right here.
Oh, there you go.
Oh. Okay. All right.
Anna will humor this as well.
Okay. So looks like Althea went first. So Trust, you're up next. And then Wall is next. This man here. Anacola.
Shouldn't this part be secret from the other players? Or are we
No,
playing
it's I mean, it can be done secretly, but you all have your bet in the pot already. So this is just a practice game, so no money bet. But it doesn't need to be concealed. There's no additional betting after the first round of betting. Okay, and then Scrawldar. And then Kroll. Okay, Althea,
Jeez.
would you like to roll more? You can roll 1 additional d6. Then it goes clockwise.
Okay, so you keep rolling until you decide to stay.
Until you decide to stop, exactly.
Okay.
So 5, making your total 14.
To
Go ahead and
14,
drop type 14 right under that. Okay. And then that would bring us to Trust. You have a 9. So you're at 11. Go ahead and type that in there. Wall's up next. Wall had a 12. That puts him at... Oh, sorry. Wall had a 10. So that puts him at 12. Okay. Now,
Yeah,
So
so
that puts
put
you
me
at
at
18. Star. 4. 12. And roll. Nice. Awesome. So yeah,
Ooh,
what you at?
at 20.
Nice.
Oh, I would have rather get there up there, but slower. But
Okay. That brings us to trust. Okay. And then wall. 12. And Cola.
A 19.
Nice. And Scrawled. It puts him at 18. Roll.
17.
Okay. Althea.
stay at 20.
Okay, go ahead and drop a 20 right there. So we need standing. Trust. Okay, Wall's next. He has a 16. Oh, he busts.
Ooh,
Hey.
one too much.
Oh, okay. I gotta wait. That means I have a 20 now, right?
Yep.
Yes, I have
Damn,
a
that's
20.
really lucky.
Let's go. I had to keep going because you already had a 20.
Yeah.
Squirraldar looks around at the rest of the table and laughs as he throws his d6. Oh, he gets a 20.
Oh man.
Oh.
Luckily, there's no money on the line on this one. Roll.
17 plus 4, 21.
Wow!
Oh, Oh my
Damn.
god.
All right, so Squirraldar will be like, all right, I don't think there's any need for us to go any farther. How about we put some coin on the next one? And he pulls out a sack, weighs it. 5 gold.
Do we all have to put out the same amount?
If it's too rich for your blood, he pulls back 3 coins.
Uh,
Oh wait, let's actually take a look at the group loot to see how much is. Wait, there's nothing in the group loot.
I don't think we have any gold in there.
We picked up some stuff from. We picked up the loot from the last mission. Did no one write it down?
I did write it down. It's in the bottom group loot sheet. It's in the tool section.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
I'm looking there right now. I don't see.
It's a group loot
anything.
character sheet now.
Did we have any gold?
Little
Did we
character
pick up
sheet.
Did we pick up
Yeah.
gold?
If you all stopped at the shop to pick up the dog collar, you could have used that opportunity to sell your valuables, like those 5 dragon statues.
At the dog
Oh, I see. Okay.
dog collar shop.
Yeah. Well, it
They'll
would have just
take
been a
our.
general trader.
All right, so that would be.
The dragon statues.
Oh
How much
gosh,
were
that
those?
is
They were 5
yeah,
dragon
120.
statues.
That's
Yep.
125 gold.
That'd be 25 gold each. So that's an extra 25 gold we can just add right now if
Yeah,
you want
let's-
to secure them.
Can you add that to shoot to crows or what is it? Is that no Kaio's? Can you add that to Kaio's sheet as well?
25 gold each.
DM, could you add 25 to Kaio?
Adding it right now. So adding 25 gold to Kaio.
Mhm.
Okay. Done.
Okay, definitely not rich for my blood. She'll throw down 6.
Anacola, as you are facing the sorry, Trust, I've got to move you. You're on top of my DM layer token. As you are facing that side of the room, a young woman would enter. a scar starting at the top left of her face all the way down to the bottom right of her chin. And she would walk in, she would look around and say, "Hey, Wall, you're in my seat." Wall would kind of look over and he says, "All right, Tarina, get over here." And then he would step out of the way and enter. Says, "Looks like I almost missed a good game here. Mind if I join you?"
Althea smiles. Of course. It'd be our pleasure. Name's Althea.
Tarina, good to meet you.
Ah, Tarina. Well, shall we bet?
She looks at the table. Is it 5 or is it 2?
I believe Anacola raised it to 6.
6? Well then. Tarina would pull out a pouch and pull out 6 gold pieces and put it on the table. So, how much is in the pot altogether if everyone's bet 6? 36?
36, yep.
Okay. She looks around towards all of you. Y'all aren't sharing gold, are you?
This is all our personal gold as far as I know.
Good answer. Alright. Tarina snatches a set of dice off the table and rolls first. She sits back. Anacola, clockwise, you're up.
Oh, yep, my bad. Ugh.
Whoa. Tarina would look over towards you. Bad luck.
Is it though, I wonder?
Scroldar. Out there. Trust. And here comes Tarina's next roll. 16. Anacola.
Ugh. That is 9.
Next. 17.
14.
Anna's realizing that they have 3 people in their group that can lower people's wisdom scores.
There are mechanics for cheating at this if we could hide our rolls from one another, but unfortunately there's no real easy way to do that on roll 20.
Mm-hmm.
It would just be like you making poor decisions for them.
Oh yeah, okay. Like
That would require
rolling on like a
that would-
19.
That would require like casting hex on them though.
Yeah. Very subtly, just like whispering arcane words. Like, it's okay, don't worry. Don't worry about it.
Alright, Althea, you're up. Yep. Nice. Alright. Goes to Rena with her 16.
Ooh, just under me.
Yeah, the tabletop version of this is a lot more like Liar's Dice. Scroldar at a 17. Tied for highest at
Tied.
19.
Yep.
Crap, 15.
15.
Sorry,
You're good.
I clicked it too soon.
You're alright. 50-50. Oh no, you have less than 50-50.
It's
Yeah,
1 in
or
3.
two,
It's 1
yeah.
in 3. Yeah. She'll just kind of like spin the dice in her fingers, thinking about it. She'll just place the dice on the table and stand.
Put your 19 there.
20.
20.
Nice.
All right, Tarina is sitting
18.
18.
Needs a 3.
Yep, she's gonna roll. Oh, 19.
Oh, even more dangerous now.
Ooh. I got 17.
Oh. Roldar sitting at his 19 is going to let out one of those. Is going to let out a laugh, and he is going to roll.
Oh, one too much.
20.
20. There.
Yeah, Ilthea is sitting
Oh, yeah.
at 19, right? And then is Trust sitting or
Trust said he
standing?
was sitting at 20, right?
Yep.
Oh, yeah, I guess you make the decision now.
He's gonna give a toothy grin over to Kroll and say, "What do you say about sharing the pot?"
Yeah, that sounds good to me.
He's gonna
Serena
put
will
his
say,
dice down.
There are no ties in Baldur's Bones. If you both sit at the 20, you have to roll against one another. Highest roll wins.
Perfect. Well, why don't you go ahead, Tarina? Your turn.
Ozzy says, I believe I will. So she needs a 1 or a 2. Oh, she busted.
Oh,
Big bust.
Oh,
fuck.
That puts you at 22. And Scrawldar at his 19. Oh. All right. So that's just Kroll and Trust left in. You guys have a game of rollies. Roll a d20 and whoever has the higher roll wins.
Anna's
Right.
gonna take out her non-magical stick, which she thinks is magic, and she's gonna attempt to make the gold invisible. It doesn't work.
All right. So Serena's gonna slap her hand on the table and say, a good game to all. Luckily, it's a very well lit room here. Guy looks around. Next time we'll have them lower the lights a bit.
So the things we needed to ask her about were.
So Zodge just says that she has information about the Dead Three.
Ah, okay. There's a lot of people around. I feel like this is one of those topics that's not supposed to be public. Say, Trina, would you fancy a game of poker? Wait, is there poker in this world?
There's various card games.
All right. Would you fancy a card game in the back room?
Says, sure. She. No, sorry. You guys haven't shown her any sort of. You haven't really shown her anything to show who you are or who you're working for yet. So she would not respond right away to that. She would kind of say, why exactly would I do that?
Because we
Trust-
have this.
Trust is gonna before Anacola whips out her badge in the room.
She feels like a police
You know,
badge.
Trina's gonna like Tress is gonna reach out to Trina and like to shake on the game.
Okay, yeah, she would nod, saying it was indeed a good game, but
And
I don't exactly know why I would follow you all to any back rooms. Seems a little bit suspicious.
Because
he's
we have
gonna he's gonna offer his hand to shake on the game. He's like, well played.
Yeah, she would extend her hand and shake. Is there a badge in
And
that hand?
there is a sleight of hand badge trying to
no.
hide that from everyone else.
Yeah.
All right. Tarina rolls a 26 on her sleight of hand, so she gets that easily. So she would nod, say, all right, this way. And she would lead you all back towards the store.
Wait, I'm confused. Why did that happen?
I think they were just trying to keep their Flaming Fist affiliation under wraps.
Oh. Okay. That makes okay. Never.
Yep.
Could have pulled out my police badge next time. I'll pull out my trap card.
Right. So she would close the door and then come over and sit down and say, so what the hell does Dodge want now?
Apparently, you may have information on the Dead 3. And we're currently in the process of trying to figure out a little bit more about the situation that's going on. And we heard that you might have information that we're looking for. So, if you were much obliged and willing to help out, which would be much appreciated, would you care to share your information on the subject?
She would nod and say, those guys. Yeah, I've been hearing quite a bit about them. Looked into them a couple times. They are, well, they're certainly not to be trifled with. Been able to find a few interesting leads. They seem to be involved with at least one of the major patriarch families. I'm trying to figure out which one exactly, but they definitely have higher up support.
Interesting. I could probably dig into that in my own time. What about in some of the lower areas?
Well, there was an attack just last night. Near the docks, near the dock district, near a tavern. Are any of you familiar with the Low Lantern?
Are we familiar with it?
Anyone from Baldur's Gate would at least have heard the name. It is essentially a pirate ship that has been turned into a tavern.
That's cool.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. But she says there was an attack. Several nobles that were traipsing through the area, just looking for a good night drinking. Dead 3. Let's just say their casket is going to be a closed one. Aside from that, I've been hearing rumors here and there about Bathhouse.
Yes, we've heard something along the same lines.
Right,
You know what bathhouse they're referring to?
Well, there is one nearby that keeps on coming up in conversation when the Dead 3 are involved. Yeah, it's the one with the nymphs, everything, the nymphs dancing around it. It's got a big open courtyard. Right, yeah, I remember now. I do remember. It's come up now 3 times when I've been questioning about the Dead 3 and their activities. It's just up, and as she is about to begin describing the directions and the location, You hear a crash from downstairs. It sounds like glass breaking and loud shouting from downstairs.
Oh no.
Trust, you would be able to look out the window and you would see 8 motley humans begin to just saunter into the bar from the lower stairs, from the lower level.
Motley?
Motley. They appear to be fresh off of a ship. They are grimy, dirty, and they look like they're brewing for a fight.
The entrance is on the other side of these windows, right?
Right. You would be able to see right around here as they made their way in to the lower area.
Does Kaio and Ghost look okay?
Yeah, they're fine. They were ignored as these guys made their way in.
All right.
Security in here.
So Tarina is looking around like, what is that? She says, well, I'm curious. And she would start making her way out.
Wait, you didn't finish the story.
So as she makes her way across the room, you would hear a bellowing roar from downstairs. It says, Tarina!
Ruh-roh.
Anacola, as you're making your way across, Tarina would stop dead in her tracks and her eyes would go wide. And from the top of the stairs, you can see a man, a brawny man with a cloudy right eye, standing near the bottom of the stairs. He walks away as he's walking around. He's got a cruel sneer and a pirate swagger. The others that accompany him are unsavory, rowdy bunch who act as if they own the place. They kind of walk around, and you can see down into the main tavern from where you are right now. And they're walking around, stepping up to tables, just grabbing a drink and drinking it. The two guards at the table just seem to be kind of ignoring them. And the barkeep has also just got his head down. He's cleaning a glass. And the leader, the one with the the one with the cloudy eye, he's like, we're looking for an old friend of ours, says the dead-eyed man. He takes a big sniff of the air. Goes by the name Tarina, or so I'm told. She loves cheating at Baldur's Bones.
Anna's gonna like put a hand on Tarina's shoulder. I'm assuming they're not old friends of yours.
She kind of looks over towards you. She says, I may or may not have stolen their ship and then sank it.
She has like a look of like being impressed, and then shakes her head, and then looks back down, and kind of gestures for Tiana to get behind her.
Yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and stay up here. If why don't you, hey, new friends, why don't you all take care of that for me, and then I'll tell you everything I know about the bathhouse and where it's at and all that good stuff.
Okay.
Take care. I'm assuming they're not the passive type.
She says, well, if I was to tell you that there are very few people who deserve a good killing more than those men down there, what would you say?
I'd say Shillelagh, and she'll walk downstairs.
All right.
Passes her. He's like, the old rubber ducky. I like that one. And
Althea will just
keeps
crack her neck.
walking.
Right. Teleport you guys to the staircase. All right. So who would have head down first?
Probably me or Crawl.
Anna?
I was second on the staircase. Somebody was in front of me.
I assumed Anna would have gone because she was directly behind Tiana.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, Tarina's hanging out
Would've
upstairs. So Trust and Althea, you're still at the top of the staircase.
I would have been last.
Okay.
Oh. Would Anna know how disguise self interacts with wild shape? And whether or not a panther could pass as a person
I am looking that up
on
right
all
now.
fours.
Interaction between disguise shelf and wild shaping. You can seem 1 foot shorter or taller and can appear thin, fat, or in between. You can't change your body type. You must adopt a form that has the same basic arrangement of limbs, otherwise the extent of the illusion is up to you. So,
I'd argue a panther also has 4 limbs, just as a person
yeah,
does.
I was thinking that because I have literally seen dogs standing up wearing pants that, like, if I was drunk enough, I would see that as a person. So,
All right, good to know. So did she point? Okay, so Tiana would have pointed out who the people are. Is it everyone in black, as well as
more
this guy?
like a Dobby type person, but still a humanoid.
Yeah, so it's like she would have pointed to them, and it's like the people in black and this guy, right?
Yep. So as you make it to the bottom of the stairs, the man standing closest to you he'd look over towards you. He'd cross his arms over his chest. And he says, "You know anyone by the name Tarita? A liar, a cheater, and a thief. Got business with her."
Oh my. Althea will kind
Well,
of come down the stairs as well. Oh my. Seems like this person has done quite a number on you. Mind
Stole our
telling us the
ship.
story?
Ain't that
Damn.
right, boys? And turns around and all the guys like grumble agreement.
Anna's gonna look towards the rest of the group, for approval, silently, and just like.
Alan looks over. The barkeep looks up and says, "You know the rules, Deadeye. Keep my employees out of it."
So does that mean these guys are not gonna help if a fight breaks out? Even if they're gonna make a big scene in here?
Those of you familiar with Baldur's Gate, trust you would probably know this. Generally speaking, the rule of thumb is as long as you don't hurt any of the employees, they leave you alone.
So what you're saying is if we accidentally kick one of them into one of the employees, and they
Anna is going to tap her staff against the ground and cast fog cloud right here.
Nice.
Oh, that could be fun.
While
Well,
that's happening,
A mist
Trust is
envelops the entire room, or most of it anyway. Like from here to like, wait, can you
8
draw
by
it?
8.
It's a 20-foot radius. So
radius
it's
sphere,
20
so
foot,
it'd be 40.
foot across. Yeah, it's
Yeah.
basically the whole room.
So yeah.
All right.
So as soon as that fog cloud bursts out, you hear the one-eyed man shout, "It's a witch!" And we're gonna roll initiative.
Woo!
while the fog's crowd going, can I get one action in?
Sure.
I'm gonna disguise self as Tarina.
Oh, nice.
Oh.
So
I'm gonna
Trust is disguised as Tarina.
I want to note a couple of minorly meta things, but one, Eldritch Blast, you don't need to see them, and two, Kroll, you have blind sight, so you can see through the fog.
Yes, I do. Only up to 10 feet, though.
That's enough.
And it's close
So you
enough
don't
to
have
see
a-
an axe.
Yeah, you don't have.
Oh, yeah,
you
yeah,
don't,
yeah,
You don't have disadvantage on your attacks because you're blind.
yeah.
So Eldritch Blast not having to see, how does that work?
It's a target with
it's
control.
a spell attack, right? So
If you know the target is there,
Okay.
it's not a target you can see.
right. You would still roll with disadvantage though, since you can't see the target, you're making a ranged attack.
Yeah, but you can still. Yeah, sorry, my bad. I just
Cool.
meant like
Alright.
you can still attack them with it,
Absolutely cool.
unlike other spells where you have to.
Okay. Sorry, I gotta get the fog cloud out of here real quick so I can get everybody in the initiative.
Quick question. What kind of weapons does it look like all these guys were holding
Swords.
on
The
them?
one in front of you has a scimitar.
Scimitar, okay. I'm just trying to think of a way I can throw a sword at this guy and blame it on them.
I mean, you do have a fog cloud up.
Exactly, that's why I'm like, all I have to do is like hit them with something and make them think it was these guys.
Let's see. So right there was it, or was it right here?
Wonder if a dagger would work. Wonder if these guys be carrying daggers.
It was right there.
Yeah, it was right there. It was covering me a bit too.
Okay. Trust. You are up first.
No, Kyle, is Kyle in this? Sorry.
No, Kyle's hanging out outside.
Okay.
Am I? How far am I up the stairs? Am I?
You are at the landing at the top of the stairs.
I can't see anyone yet.
Correct.
I'm going to make my way.
Remember, moving past your allies, does not require any extra movement.
I'm gonna attempt to.
Just can't stop in a space occupied.
I'm gonna like jump up on the table here, if I can, as I come down the landing.
Okay. The three guys that were at the table kind of startled, just jump back in alarm.
And I can't see anything, right? It's completely
Heavily obscured. Go ahead and
obscured.
Brawl fight.
If I'm next
Kill
to
everyone involved.
if I'm next to someone, can I see them?
The way that I usually run stuff like this is if there is somebody like within reaching distance of you, you can see a faint silhouette of them, so you know someone's there.
Okay. So as I pass this guy, I will cast Hex on him.
This is my version of darkness.
Here you go. Hex. And I guess I need to concentrate for that. I should need to set up a macro for this. So I'll cast Hex on El Capitan and then fire a Eldritch Blast at him. Definitely a disadvantage.
Okay. So technically, the rules as written says that you're essentially effectively suffering the blinded condition, but that doesn't really make a whole lot of sense to me. If somebody's like 5 feet away from you, right in front of you, you can see silhouettes, you can see things like that, so that is fine. Oof.
Disadvantage?
Yep.
Yeah. I miss.
Okay. So, the bandit all the way across the room is going to just wade into the fray, and he is knocking over tables as he makes his way across, kind of just arms outstretched. You can see a sword waving around, but that's about it. Next one does much the same. He does wind up right there, and he is going to take a swing at whoever he sees in front of him at disadvantage. It is
How
a
high are
19
these?
at disadvantage.
How high up is the ceiling?
I'd laugh if he accidentally hit him.
That might happen with nat ones. So Althea, it is a 19 to hit
19 does unfortunately hit.
for 3 slashing.
Okay.
Anacola, you're up.
How high up is the ceiling?
The ceiling is about let's call it 10 feet. Not super high ceilings.
Huh. Okay, that's interesting. So if I was to climb up the wall, and jump over these guys, I'm trying to think if that would be within reach of them.
So you would be out of reach of like opportunity attacks and the like, and they wouldn't be able to hit you with their swords if you were like on the ceiling.
Okay. Okay. I will, I will become a panther.
Okay. Ready to visit the Grey again?
Oh yeah.
Okay, get that panther vision for you real quick.
Yeah, these guys don't have dark vision, but I don't think that's gonna matter.
This is well lit area. Okay, good to go.
Oh god. Okay. Yeah. So I'm gonna. How far a creature can jump? It's like strength
Equal
mod.
to its strength score, right?
Okay. Is that like rounded up or down?
We'll round it up.
Okay, so it's 14, so it's like 3 squares. So yeah, it'll climb on the wall here, then onto this one, and then jump. 1, 2, 3. So it'll go. Yeah, I guess it'll go.
Can you make an acrobatics check for that real quick?
Yeah.
This is more. You can do it. This is just more for the landing.
So it's just a +2.
Yeah, just dexterity.
Ooh, okay, that's a 9.
Okay, so the landing's a bit rough. You don't go sprawling, you're not prone, but it's not quite as graceful as a cat would like to be.
That's fine. And they'll accept. Yeah, they'll accept an opportunity attack and charge towards this guy. If that guy's gonna, well, actually, can they make they can't see her, right? So
This one here would see something flying past them, hit the ground, and then run away as vague silhouettes. So, just the same way as you guys can see shapes and things like that moving, so can they. So it will be an opportunity attack, but it will be a disadvantage, and it is only a 4 to hit.
all right, so she'll keep running, 20 whole feet towards this guy, and then make a claw attack.
That man is obviously terrified as he sees a panther just charging out of the fog and leaping at his face. I'll get
Yeah,
them to-
sorry.
1 second, don't roll yet. I'm gonna.
Oh,
that's
oh
fine.
yeah, I'm still in the. Yep. Okay. Um.
Okay.
I'll use my inspiration
Okay.
to try and hit.
14 does hit.
Okay, nice. So yes, so I'll roll damage.
Token actions are on for your panther. You can click off the token and click back onto it. You'll see the token actions.
Yep, I got it. It's also going to have to make a strength save.
Nice. Result is a 7.
All right, it's knocked prone.
Man, that poor man. He thought he was getting into a bar fight. Instead, he gets tackled by a panther.
And that's gonna be her turn.
Okay. This bandit up here is going to look around, and he's just confused. He's going to raise the crossbow, and he's going to try and take a shot at the person standing up on the table. It is only a 10
Hit
to
one of
hit
these
them.
guys instead.
It's a miss.
Althea.
Let's see. How can I make this work? I really want to do something fun here. How far can you throw a dagger?
Also, I wanted to know about the blinded condition. If that was to be imposed by people within the sphere, it wouldn't affect combat other than like attack rolls against a creature within it would have advantage, and theirs would have disadvantage.
Correct.
And they fail sight-based things, but they can like still make other attacks as normal.
Okay, cool.
Alright, what I'm going to do is... I can't cast Arms on Fire because there's too many people around. So it's gonna be... We're gonna put Hex on this guy here.
Okay.
And we are going to lay waste to him. Hopefully. Hopefully my rolls are gonna get better.
Well, just hits.
Cool.
2 from Hex.
Oh yeah, you said we were using the whatever the first roll was.
You
for
can
all-
choose, but when you do choose, let's try to keep it consistent across the board from going forward.
Okay.
So would you like to use that initial roll, or do you want it to roll for you each time?
I like doing the roll for each time just because of the way crits work.
Oh, that makes sense. Yep. All right, Althea, anything else?
Nope, that's it.
All right, Curl, you're up.
Okay, Kroll is going to move into the fog. He has his battle axe ready. He's going to attack the main boss right here
Nice.
with a 19.
Okay, yeah, 19 hits.
Okay, for 5.
Yeah, he's gonna grunt. Be like, ugh! Tarina made some new friends, I see.
And I don't know if I should use it yet. I'll probably just wait.
Okay.
And that'll be my turn.
Bandit right down here. And yeah. Step around here. You know what? He's gonna get right up to here, and he's going to take a crossbow shot at Kroll, the man who just hit his captain. 16 to hit Kroll.
Misses.
Right.
That's a disadvantage, right?
At disadvantage.
Okay.
And the bandit that has a panther on top of him is screaming in panic, and he is going to start swinging wildly with his scimitar at disadvantage, of course.
At the start of his turn, he has to make a con save.
Let's see. It's an 18.
Oh, he succeeds.
At disadvantage, it does 17 to hit.
Oh god, yeah, that hits.
Damage. 5 slashing.
Okay.
Oh no,
yeah.
what's that? Broken Mac?
I don't know how to actively lower the Panthers thing.
You should just be able to click on the token, and then when the bubble pops up, you just click on the 13, and then you can do -5.
Yep, I see. Yeah, I see.
That should also automatically do the concentration save for you.
Alright, did it make the thing? It didn't show up in my chat.
It doesn't look like the damage was removed from the panther. There it goes.
I'm
Once-
lagging really bad, I'm so sorry.
Yeah, it looks like all of roll 20 is. Because that didn't come through for us until just now either.
So did I maintain concentration?
It did not auto-roll the save, so go ahead and just roll it manually. So it's just a DC 10.
Alright.
Oh no.
Oh, okay. Fog cloud dissipate.
Wait, what's your modifier for con? Or
The Panthers is 0.
oh,
Yeah.
Yeah, I maintain my mental scores.
Okay, so everyone looks around in shock. The captain and everyone else whips their heads around to Trust and screams, "Get her!"
Oh no.
So, Bandit Captain. He has no real clear path to get to Trust, who is Tarina. So he's just going to turn on Kroll for now, trusting his men to do the work. Roll.
Yes, sir.
He turns towards you and says, "Picked the wrong friends." And he swings his scimitar at you twice. Oh no. Critting you once, and then the second one is a 17.
Okay, first one hits.
Roll, you take 12 slashing from that crit.
Damn. All right.
He then draws a dagger, seemingly out of nowhere, and thrusts. It is only 11 to hit with the dagger, though.
Nope.
Okay. Trust, this bandit down here, is going to take a shot at you with his light crossbow. It is a 17 to hit, Trust. Trust, a 17.
Yep, it hits.
5 piercing.
Eight.
Next bandit also takes a light crossbow shot at you. It's a 13 to hit.
That is my armor class.
Another 3 piercing. And it
Oh,
looks like your concentration went down.
Yeah. That would have been on Hex.
On Hex, okay. You're up, Trust.
Oh, this wasn't a good idea. And I will attempt to... Is it an action to drop a spell, or can I just drop it?
Oh, free action to drop a spell.
Yeah. So I'll give a big toothy smile as Terena, and then just drop the illusion,
Everyone's just like, whoa!
and then take that chance to Eldritch Blast the guy right in front of me.
At disadvantage.
Disadvantage?
Yeah, because
Oh, that's right.
Because you have enemies
'cause
within
he's-
5 feet of you.
Gotcha. That.
Luckily, their armor class is pretty low.
Let's see.
That's a hit. Oh, 11 does not hit, barely misses. You can use your Sessional Inspiration to take that crit, though, if you want.
Yeah, I'm gonna use the Session Inspiration to take that crit. And
Oh,
I'll. Yeah. And I don't have Hex on him. I have. Oh no, Hex is dropped, so
Hex got
no,
dropped.
no Hex. But this guy's gonna smack 10 feet across the floor into his captain as well.
Okay.
So
Okay,
whatever happens there. So he's
He goes down, and as he barrels into his captain is going to make a dexterity saving throw and see if he goes prone or not. He does get a 19 staying on his feet.
that is the. I have my movement still.
Mhm.
I'm gonna try to hop off the table.
Okay. That's
Over
your only
here.
open spot right there.
Try to like leapfrog over someone, over let's say, this person.
Okay.
Over here.
All right. You do take an opportunity attack, but it does miss.
It's my turn.
Okay. This bandit down here is just looking around, just utterly confused at the whole situation. Fog, Tarina, not Tarina, Panther. He is going to turn around and take a shot at the Panther that is on his buddy. And it is only an 8 to hit. I'm sure an 8 doesn't hit a Panther. That
oh, I'm
was-
so sorry. No, it does not.
All right, Nicole, you're up.
Okay. Oh god. Okay. I could do a crowd control-y thing, or I could attack this guy again.
He is prone.
Oh
Advantage
yeah,
on
so it's
attacks
at
against him.
advantage? Yeah, okay, she'll deal with him first. Yeah, she'll attempt to rip his throat out. 21.
That certainly hits. Okay.
Aw, damn. Not that much.
He is looking rough, but he's still alive.
Okay, she bit a piece out of his shoulder.
Okay.
Then she is going to bonus action. Oh, what is it? Sorry. Never. That'll be her turn. That'll be her turn.
Looks like we're gonna go over by a little bit tonight, everybody. Is that okay? Anybody
Mhm.
have an issue with us going over by a few? Cool. All right. trust the bandit over here is going to come running around the corner here. Right there. And he's going to try to hit you with a scimitar. It is only 5 to hit. Man, I'm rolling so bad tonight. Okay, that does bring us to Althea.
So first thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna yell at everyone in the bar. I'm like, if you don't want to get dragged into the fight, I suggest you hug the walls.
Right, I was actually going to say that at the top of the initiative they did that, but I missed it, so at the top of this initiative they will spread out.
Okay, because that matters for me.
Right. You know, let's go ahead and say that they had the wherewithal to do that last time. I think that's everybody.
All right, perfect. Oh, this guy here. All right, so let's see. Where do I have to stand? Right here. I'd still hit crawl. Here. Here. Right here, I get everyone. Alright, so I'd be taking opportunity attacks from 1, 2. Taking 2 opportunity attacks to go there. It's a lot of opportunity attacks to take. Okay. We're gonna move the hex onto this one here as I charge forward at him.
Okay, so just one opportunity attack.
No opportunity attacks.
No?
I stayed in range. I stayed in range, Captain.
Oh, you were right here. My bad.
Yeah, yeah. If I went here, I'd take an opportunity attack.
Okay.
All right, so we're gonna go ahead and just hit this guy.
24 certainly hits.
For 7.
Okay.
And that'll be my turn.
Roll, you're up.
And it hit this guy, by the way, not the captain.
My bad.
Alright, Kroll is going to go after the captain again. So, battle axe, one-handed. 16?
He raises his sword and bats your bow aside, using his parry reaction.
Okay, I'm gonna do it. Let's do the action surge, and I'll do it again.
Okay. 16 hits.
Okay. Ah, come on. And for my bonus action, I am going to do my second wind.
All right.
So D10. So 6. All right.
Bandits.
That is me.
Althea, this one's going to take a scimitar attack at you. It is only a 5 to hit. Anacola, the one that you have pinned, is going to desperately try to scimitar you again. 18 to hit.
Yeah. That will hit. Can you make a con
I'm
save
sorry,
first?
disadvantage, it is only 15.
15 still hits the panther. Can he make a con
One
save?
second. No, that might actually not matter because of this con save. He does get a 3 on his con save. How much does he take?
Okay. Three points of damage. Or
So
3
he
points of
raises
necrotic
his
damage.
scimitar like he's about to jab it into the flank of the panther, but then immediately begins choking on these spores just radiating away from the beast. And just as he's about to drive the blade home, he just drops the blade and clutches at his throat. He dies.
Yeah, she's just snarling, and then turns around to look at the other
Yeah, that's
crowd.
scary.
I love sport druids.
Okay, yeah, he's down. Okay. Captain's gonna be like, doesn't have to go this way. Just give up Torena and nobody else has to get hurt. That being said, he's gonna start swinging. He takes one scimitar swipe at Althea. Althea, it's only a 9 to hit. The second scimitar strike goes at Kroll with a 10 to hit. Man, he's doing bad. And then the dagger coming at Kroll is a 17.
Nope.
Right. And it down here. I'm gonna take a short bow shot at, light crossbow shot at the Panther. 15 to hit.
That hits.
It is 9 piercing.
Ooh, okay. Yep, the panther vanishes, and Anacola is back. She's a bit shaky, but otherwise fine.
Not
Oh
concentrating.
wait, no, not
right?
bad. No.
Okay.
Also took 1 point of that damage.
Bandit is going to move down a bit farther away, and he's going to take a light crossbow shot at Althea. 16, Althea. Looks like 16 misses. Oh, yep, get him out of there. Right, brings us to Trust.
Trust is gonna give a toothy grin and then snap his finger like he's trying to use a lighter, and will sacred flame the guy in front of him.
Okay. He does fail the dex save, taking 4 radiant.
Is this a door behind me?
It is. Would you like to open it?
Can I like try to like as I let loose the the sacred flame kind of like fumble behind me and try to like back into the door?
Yeah, it's just a door. It's not locked or anything. You can open it.
I'm gonna push myself and kind of try to back into it, opening myself for an opportunity attack probably.
Ooh, a 22 to hit for 6 slashing.
That'll hit. Okay. I'm gonna bonus action as I'm like out. That hurts. I'm bleeding, and will use healing light on myself. Use 2d6.
I was super worried because I would have no way of getting you back up.
Okay, brings us to the next bandit, who is going to take some swipes at Althea. Trust, was there anything else you wanted to do?
No, that was it. I'm gonna try to run around into the room and like back up against the wall, breathing
Yep.
heavily.
You hear a bandit shout, "You better run!" as you go. And this one is going to take a slash at Althea. Althea, it is a 22 to hit for 6 slashing. Nice. Okay, Anacola.
Okay. Okay. She is going to, fuck it, she'll become a badger.
Nice. A giant badger, I'm assuming.
Yeah, she becomes a tiny badger. No, yeah, she becomes a giant
Sorry, I
badger.
dragged you off.
Yeah, that was really bad. Okay, let me see what my abilities are again. Okay. She'll run towards, yeah, she'll run towards this guy over here. And then make a multi. Wait, fuck, could I have hexed him, or could I have hexed one of them before I...
Yeah, that's fine.
guy. She'll hex this guy then.
Okay.
She hasn't hexed anyone today, so that's her racial. There we go. Okay, now she'll make a bite. 18 to hit.
18 certainly hits.
That is 4 piercing and 5 necrotic.
Nice. He goes down.
Sweet.
All right, and then yeah, she already used her bonus action, so she'll just use the other attack on this guy.
15 hits.
14. Jeez.
4 slashing.
4 slashing.
No necrotic this time? For hex?
No. Yeah, she would have to bonus action to move it,
Okay,
but she
and you
doesn't
use
have a
bonus
bonus.
action to launch hex to begin. Got it. Okay. Brings us to
Ooh,
this
that'll
thing,
be her turn.
who is going to rush crawl.
Yeah.
Roll, it's only a 12 to hit.
Nope.
Althea, you're up.
Are you muted, Althea?
I'll just sit tight for now, I guess.
Roll. In case
All
anyone's
right.
interested, the bandit captain does look very healthy still.
I think I'm gonna take a swing at the guy in front of me,
Okay.
up top. Try to get another bandit out. So battle axe.
24 certainly hits.
Okay.
10 takes him down.
I should have went for the captain. That was a big hit. Okay. All right.
Happens.
That is it. I don't think I can do anything else.
Just to the captain. He's going to continue his attacks. One towards
Can you
Althea.
make a con save?
It's 10 feet. 18.
Oh, 18
Yeah,
hits.
he succeeds.
Oh no, it's 18 for the con save.
Oh,
Scimitar attacks. It is a 20, which, if I know anything about what number is bigger than the other.
yep. So 20 hits.
4 slashing. Pearl, this one's for you. Another 20 for 5 slashing.
Yep, that
And
hits.
Althea, the dagger's for you. The 12.
I'm gonna cast Hellish Rebuke.
Oh, nice.
Ah, what a
Oh, that's
horrible roll.
low hellish rebuke damage. That's unfortunate.
Oh my gosh.
Right, back to bandits.
Oh, there goes my hex.
This one's gonna rush up and attack the badger who just murdered one of his friends. It's only a 9 to hit the badger.
That misses.
Next bandit. Gonna continue taking crossbow shots at Althea. Oh, Althea, he crits you. It is 6
Oh,
piercing.
come on. Alright.
Trust, you're up.
I'm
bloodied.
gonna poke my head around the corner, and can I see this one?
Oh yeah.
Get a shot at him. I will take it. Eldritch Blast.
22 hits. He goes sprawling.
Yeah, 1 hit point.
He
Amazing.
literally had 1 hit point. That's awesome.
Amazing.
I was like, I don't even have to see what he rolled. It's still just 1 hit.
Yeah. I will kind of like, yeah, stay back here.
Man, this guy's posse is dwindling. All right, Anacola.
All right. She's going to slowly turn around to the person who just tried to strike her.
menacing badger.
She is going to bonus action hex them.
Lord willing.
And then make a bite attack. Ooh,
11
that's
does
11
not
to hit.
hit.
Okay. And then a claw attack.
22 hits.
22 to hit.
7 slashing.
7 slashing. Plus 2 necrotic.
They are hurting badly, but he is still up.
It's like they're foaming at the mouth.
This man is terrified. What the hell are you? Alright, Althea.
Alright, I'm going to go ahead and cast False Slave on myself.
Okay.
So an extra 5 temporary HP. Okay, and I'm gonna look at the captain and be like, I don't know if you've noticed, but there's only a few of you left. Maybe you should take your losses and get the hell out of town.
Make an intimidation check. DC will be extraordinarily high. This is a very angry man.
Nope.
He says, I don't know if you've noticed, but I'm about to gut you.
We'll see about that. That's my turn.
Roll.
All right, Crawl is gonna go for the captain.
Yeah.
Battle axe.
8 does not hit.
Oh, good hell. Okay, that's my turn.
Right. Althea, he turns to face you squarely. Dagger in one hand, scimitar in the other.
Con save.
Okay.
Yep, con save. My buddy Alex is gonna get a kick out of watching these videos. He's the guy who played the Spore Druid, and literally every turn, con save. Con save, please. I get a con save.
Sorry.
He gets a 4.
Hey. Hey, four
Hey,
necrotic.
4 for 4. Okay. Althea.
Yeah, he just starts like inhaling spores.
All right. Here comes scimitar, 2 of them. A 13 and a 10. Ugh, God.
Nope.
His angry slashes are not effective.
She'll just use her shield to like bat them away.
And a 10 with the dagger. Wow, a full barrage of multi attacks against you, and they all miss.
She skillfully uses her spear to bat the dagger away, as she readies her next strike.
Okay, that's his turn. Brings us to this bandit, who is absolutely terrified of this giant badger in his face. Anacola, why don't you go ahead and make an intimidation check for me?
Alright. Can I use the badger's strength modifier? Or like
Sure, we'll say you
Or-
just smash the table next to you with it.
or wait, no, I can use my stats. I forgot. I have my own skills.
Yep. You can do this roll at advantage.
Nice. Yeah, sorry, I didn't have my own sheet up.
Good.
Ooh.
So with a 14, he is going to just like, okay, Devil Badger, I don't want no more of this. And he just starts slowly backing away from you. Are you gonna take an opportunity attack against him?
I cannot. I use my reaction.
Use your action. Okay, yeah. He is just going to book. And since Skuna is blocking the door, he's gonna go out the window. Kaio just sees some this poor, terrified, bloody bandit just come bursting out of a window and run away screaming.
Aw, Kai doesn't finish him off? Damn.
Wait, how much do we have? That's a lot.
Just casually stab him in the back as he runs by.
He would have used his dash.
Damn it.
Yeah, he's clear off the map now. The captain would yell, "A coward!" and then look over towards Anacola and be like, "Oh."
Stole my hex. That's the worst part. He stole my hex. I'm gonna.
He stole my hex.
I hexed his dexterity so he trips.
Okay, we'll say that Kaio
I didn't
takes a
specify
swing
before,
at him
but
on
it was
his way out.
it was his dex.
and kills the shit out of him. So
Nice,
he
let's
can see
go.
he can see that the bandit is running and is about to run over Ghost, and Kaio just like gets up and stabs him before he can run into Ghost.
He just like holds out his dagger, and the guy isn't paying attention. Runs into the rapier.
All right, Trust, you're up.
I am going to. Why can't I select my guy? Weird. Okay, gotcha. Oh, weird. I can't
Maybe you're in a wall.
select my token. Yeah, it might be. I want to move out of that wall and come outside. Yeah, roll 20 is weird. I also lost all the dynamic lighting on me, so.
Okay.
So just
Here, one
refresh.
You are 21.14 initiative. Reroll your initiative.
I just refreshed the page. I'm back in.
I deleted your token and re-put it on, so I just need you to reroll your initiative, please.
Sure.
21.14. Okay. It's on you.
I'm gonna pop out here, run around, and seeing that there's only the captain left, I will fire
There's
an
one
Eldritch
more
Blast.
bandit down here, just so you know.
Okay. I'm gonna fire the captain anyways.
Okay. 8 does not
Nope.
hit.
Yeah, I'm gonna stay.
Okay. All right. What is this man's wisdom and intelligence? It's actually pretty damn decent. So. Yeah, I think at this point, Deadeye would just kind of put his hands up. He doesn't drop his weapons. He kind of just puts his hands up. Looks around towards all of you. I can see when I'm beat. Let me walk out of here, and maybe no one else has to die today, but if we continue this, I'm taking one of you with me.
Oh, Althea just like bursts in anger over that statement. You're like, you think you can actually kill one of us before we kill you?
Is it his turn? Oh, it's not his turn, I'm sorry. But that is what he says. Anacola, you're up.
She's going to bonus action hex him and then multi-attack.
Okay.
13 Does 13 doesn't hit?
You do have advantage for flanking right now.
Yeah, 13 would be the higher. But also,
It
I
just
can't.
ended
DM, I
going-
can't hear you. Did a 13 hit or no?
Sorry, was that?
Oh, you were okay. Sorry. Does the 13 hit? No.
A 13 does not hit the bandit captain, no.
Oh, that's okay.
22 hits.
Let them out and then call them out.
Yeah, I didn't. I don't think I used my. No, I haven't used my inspiration. I'll use my inspiration for the 22.
You have flanking. You have flanking.
Oh. Okay. Yeah. Yeah. Oh. Okay. Yeah. 22 then. There we go.
22 does hit.
7 slashing. So 10 damage total.
Okay.
Oh, he's not even. Oh, he has a lot of health. Okay. Yeah, that'll be your turn.
Yeah.
So despite being fairly bloodied, you see her eyes turning like bright red as she like looks at him, kind of like battle crazed, ready to just like go on a murder spree, and she's just gonna start wailing on him.
Okay. Oh,
Damn.
Nice. Nice. It's good damage too. Okay.
And with that, she'll just be like, look at him and be like, you think you can actually kill us before we kill you? You don't stand a chance.
All right.
That's turn.
Roll. With advantage from flanking.
Okay, so I'm actually going to drop my shield and I'm going to do a two-handed
Nice.
attack.
18 hits.
Okay.
Nice.
Hey.
He's looking rough now.
Then that also takes down my AC, so I gotta take my shield off. All right. That's me.
Con save.
He's an 11.
Oh, that failed. 2 necrotic.
All right, Althea.
Mm-hmm.
Try to stop that laughing.
All right.
It is a 14, a 15,
Miss. Miss.
and a 23.
That one hits.
7 piercing.
Okay.
And
She'll just laugh, be like, "Do you think that's enough?"
and that is going to bring us to this bandit, who is going to come up here and flank the giant badger with his captain.
Whoa.
Only a 12 to hit, though, even with advantage.
That does hit.
Okay. 4 slashing.
Okay, that's fine.
Thrust, you're up.
I'll keep firing a Eldritch Blast over at the captain.
Hits.
He gets flung back 10 feet, though, if I
Okay.
want to. I think it does. I don't have a choice, right?
I
I don't think so.
Does it say you may? What's the invocation?
It is Quelling Blast. When you can push the
So you can choose.
creature up to 10 feet. So yeah, no, I'm not
Okay,
choosing
yeah,
to push
because
it.
he would most certainly run away. Okay. Anything else?
No,
Oh.
I'm gonna hold.
I want to note, don't think it did the con save for me when I took damage. So I'm gonna roll it.
Okay.
Oh, okay,
Certainly
nice.
success,
Okay.
yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, for some
she's
reason it's
going-
not doing it for the badger or for your wild shapes.
No, that's fine. So she's going to multi-attack the captain. 14 to hit.
It's not hit.
Damn it. One more attack. 21 to
hits.
hit.
Nice.
Seven.
He's looking rough.
Ooh, and then 5 necrotic.
Anakola. How does he die?
Yes. Okay. So she, all equally angered at the insult of retreating, is just going to pounce on him. She's going to use her claws to just start like clawing away at his chest, like blood splattering over Althea and Cruel. She just like starts wailing into him, even as he mentioned like wanting to potentially leave. She just keeps going
God.
until she's really just like starting to break his ribs. And then she's going to turn around and bonus action
Oh, no.
hex this guy. There's just like blood dripping from her maw. Her entire upper body is covered in blood, and she's just looking at this guy.
Everyone in the bar is just like wide-eyed and gawking, like, what the fuck?
She's gonna also hex his wisdom, so he like has worse decision making.
All right. Okay. Althea.
So Althea, covered in blood from both her own and the captain's, still had the glint in her eyes goes wider as she starts to look at this other guy with like a giant smile on her face
Poor
as she
man.
like as she moves around with like lightning speed behind him and just like like a jumping move, just like tries to stab him in the head.
16 hits.
Max damage. Let's go.
9 takes him down.
Boom.
Hey, let's go.
And as she kills him, she just kind of like whips her spear to the ground, just knock off the blood,
Nice.
then spits on him.
What'd you
So,
say? Oh, she spit.
The bard
Yeah.
is just like bracing up against the walls in terror, and Tarina kind of comes walking down the stairs, and she looks around. She's like, "Holy shit!" And we're gonna call it a session there, guys.